It's 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. Here are your sports headlines. I'm Will Hobbs, and Arne Slot says he'd be happy to have Mo Salah back, even if he had 15 fit attackers.
Mo has been so important for this club, for me, so I'm happy that he's back.
He hopes Salah could be ready to face Marseille in the Champions League live on talkSPORT on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Slot's called Andy Robertson mature and impressive for keeping any doubts over his Liverpool future close to his chest.
I think every player should have the same feeling about his current position, and that is that he's not starting every game.
Well, Liverpool host Burnley tomorrow. Now, West Ham's want-away midfielder owes the club a relegation scrap. Here's Tony Cottee on the Lucas Paquetá situation.
The club stood by him when he had all this stuff going on with the accusations and the FA after him. The West Ham stood by him. They kept him on full pay. He was still playing, and he owes the club. He owes the fans.
Paquetá wants to return to Flamengo in Brazil. We're told that club is having meeting with Hammer's bosses today. Roma, meanwhile, have completed the signing of Doniel Marlon from Aston Villa, whilst Villa are confident of signing Roma's Tammy Abraham on a 4.5-year deal. They've cancelled his previously agreed loan to Besiktas because of it. Mikel Arteta says Victor Gyökeres is demanding more of himself to reach the levels required. He was also asked today about a confrontation between Declan Rice and an assistant coach during the Chelsea win.
The good thing is that by the time that I find out, the problem was resolved, so that's very good.
And as England World Cup preparation plans ramp up, the FA are looking at playing 2 warm-up games at Disney World in Florida. Thomas Tuchel wants testing opposition in hot American conditions.
talkSPORT News.
A group of nurses who sued the NHS over a transgender colleague using a female changing room have won the case, and 3 British parents are taking TikTok to court in the US over the deaths of their children. More from the news team in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, your go-to destination for quality tyres from great brands like Continental. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Sunshine and showers, a mixture. The showers heaviest in the west and southwest, where hail and thunder's possible. Breezy all round with average temperatures.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We've been taking you through what should be another busy day of football. Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT, where this afternoon, after that bit of news there from Will that England will be playing at Disneyland. We don't want any Mickey Mouse gags. You won't be the first, you won't be the last. We won't be doing it. So we'll leave it there, shall we?
We shall.
Yeah.
Coming up over the next 3 hours, Stan Collymore gives us his take on the week's big football talking points.
Yeah.
We'll look at the new way refs plan to stamp out time wasting, and we'll get reaction to Michael Carrick's first press conference as head coach of Manchester United ahead of tomorrow's derby.
Yeah, we got that one for you tomorrow lunchtime. Yes, also we'll have more of Andy's nonsense by numbers. We'll test the strength of today's transfer rumours, and we'll chat to James Bond's personal trainer.
There's all this plus the clips of the week, the Fools panel, and NBA stars boo's own fans.
Yeah.
Todd Macklin's American sports.
An NBA player, we get a lot of booing of players by the fans, but not often does a player
No, that's true.
boo the fans. But that's what happened, and it's Giannis, one of the big players in the world of the NBA. Anyway, more on that later. It is 5 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy.
Good afternoon, Paul. And I couldn't find any sport to watch last night, so I did that thing where I'll go through the channels, see if I can find something I like.
Yeah, okay.
So, round the channels, I started off with Sky Sports.
Andy Jacobs, round the channels.
the
I
channels.
kind of feel we should have some sort of jingle for it.
It was the PGA Golf Tour opener from Hawaii, early stages. I thought, well, I'm not even interested in the latter stages.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Then
I imagine the scenery is nice, though, Hawaii.
Oh, very nice.
You've been to Hawaii, haven't you?
I've been twice, yeah.
Yeah, oh, blimey.
Lovely place.
Get you.
It was a long time. It was like 1978. It's probably changed since then.
Hawaii 5-0 was still on the telly then. Is that why you went? To join what was his name?
I've got a brilliant...
Steve McGarrett.
Steve McGarrett. I was on Waikiki Beach.
Oh, yeah.
There was one of those boats that they had in Hawaii 5-0.
They row them in?
Yeah.
The old,
I got a film, but like Super 8 film of me doing that.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, you had to go?
Oh, yeah.
Super 8.
I know, it's a long time.
I've got the old...
Wouldn't I just be 106?
I've got the old Super 8 film of me. Yeah, it's good.
Like
okay.
the producer said to us the other day, he said, it's my birthday tomorrow. I said, how old are you? He said, 30. I thought, blimey, I'm 43 years older than you.
There's a new book out about 1996, and we were saying to the producer we should get the author in for a chat. And he said, that was the year I was born. You think, yeah, thanks, mate.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Anyway, Sky Sports Channel 403.
403, yeah.
It was the aftermatch of Blackburn v Charlton, the manager's interviews, but as I hadn't seen the game, I moved on. Then it was the...
Wouldn't it have been quite interesting to have listened to the manager's interviews, then gone back and watched the whole 90 minutes to see the kind of self-serving nonsense that all football managers come up with?
True.
Yeah.
The SA20 highlights between Pretoria Capitals and Par Royals.
Okay.
Well, I might go back to that, but by the time I'd finished doing my roundup, it'd finished. Which was a shame.
Fantastic. Well done.
Sky Sports 407 F1 channel, highlights of the Miami Grand Prix. Next.
Yeah.
Sky Sports Tennis. No, not for me, Brian. Sky Sports News was always a good catch-up.
Yeah. What did you find out from Sky Sports News? What was the main thrust of it last night at that time? Transfers?
Yeah, a bit of transfers. Aftermath of the Women's FA Cup game between West Brom and Everton, a 5-0 win for Everton.
Right, yeah. You stick with that for a while?
No, I didn't bother.
Okay.
The live snooker Masters, Trump versus Mark Allen. I watched a great fifth frame, but it was the best of 11. I thought, I've got to go to bed. I'm not staying up for that. NFL highlights, I've seen that. Yes, Milan won 3-1 at Como. Missed the whole of that game too. Oh, here we go. TNT 2, the Dakar Rally, Stage 2, my favourite stage.
Oh, it's one of the best stages, isn't it? If you're going to watch any stage of the Dakar Rally, watch Stage 2.
Presented by a South African block of wood. I don't know who he was, but he was really terrible.
Was he not great?
He was terrible.
Funny enough, he's on today.
It was all a bit dusty for me, that one.
Right, okay. Did you start coughing? Was it a bit dry just watching it on the telly? You got a very good telly, haven't you?
Stateside Live on Sky Racing. I always enjoy that.
Yeah.
It's about racing. I have to stay on. And I stayed on for the 9:53 at Gulfstream. I fancied Ski Bum, but he came second behind Liam Song.
You didn't have him each way, though, did you?
No, I didn't bet on it either.
Don't start betting on the 9:53 from, where was it?
Gulfstream.
Don't be doing that, and that is a rocky road. Yeah.
So that was that.
Brilliant. Okay, well, there is something about that. I mean, I think Andy Jacobs, on those nights when there's no live sport on, I quite like your little trawls through those. That's good. Excellent. We didn't find you in a particularly good mood today. You've had a day to reflect on the... You were there at the Arsenal-Chelsea game.
Yes.
In the end, I mean... You'll have your players back. I was talking to Darren Bent yesterday, and he's a little bit concerned. You'll have all your big players back for the second leg.
Look, just think... I see worrying signs with the new manager.
He's only been there for about 4 days.
But still, you can tell.
I mean, it's a tough business, isn't it, being the Chelsea manager? Do you want him out?
I don't think it matters whether I want him in or out. I think he'll be out. I just don't see...
Why can you say that this early?
Because any manager's a slave to playing out from the back.
Yeah.
For me, is about 2 seasons out of date. You know, all the best managers, Arteta, Guardiola... Unai Emery, they're all mixing it up. They don't just play out from the back.
Yeah.
You watch tomorrow.
Makes you very predictable, doesn't it?
Of course. Brentford will camp on the edge of our box. We'll probably kick it out for a throw. They'll take a throw and score. I can't, we're just made for a team like Brentford, the way we play. And the fact that the key players can't play. I mean, Palmer, when he plays, like he played against Fulham, it took him sort of basically 60 minutes out of the 75.
Is this an injury, that sort of niggly injury that won't go away, is it?
Just to get his rhythm. He can't get any rhythm.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, yeah, look, they did well. To
get back into it, Garnacho did well, didn't he?
It was a game they were always going to lose, but, playing Arsenal's first team with your, 5 of your best players missing was always difficult. But I just feel some of the signs some of the stuff that's being said. I'm not saying this. When people say, "Oh, the manager's a bit David Brent" and all this, that's not ideal.
I mean, the thing is, I do feel a bit for him because it seems like everybody's been setting him up to fail and taking the mickey out of him. He's been there for 5 minutes.
I know, but there's a problem with getting the job too early. I'm not saying he won't be a good manager.
Yeah,
but he has to think about this playing out from the back because it's outdated. If you only do one thing. You're so predictable. It can never. All right, occasionally you'll beat the press. Yeah, great, you're in then, fantastic. But when you don't beat the press, you're in trouble.
And we've seen, especially with City, when they, everybody pushes up and then they launch it long, often to Haaland. Yeah. And you look how many goals they've scored like that. They suck you in.
And you can guarantee Brentford tomorrow will not play it out from the back. They won't. They'll just play in our half. They'll knock it long to Igor Thiago and hope for some knockdowns and knockdowns.
Well, look, it's an evolving thing. He's had about 2 or 3 training sessions, so I'm sure he'll look at what he's got and he will evolve.
He's got some very, very good players is what he's got.
Yeah.
You do feel that the Club World Cup was people said, oh, it's going to catch up with Chelsea. And you think, will it? But he obviously has had an effect.
Yeah, I think there was always that feeling it would do.
So many injuries, so much, But we'll see. Arsenal look good, though.
Yeah, they are. That
was their first team.
That wasn't a massive surprise, was it? I wouldn't have thought.
Not really.
Yeah. We're going to kick off today, chatting to Graham Scott, the former Premier League referee. There's a meeting in London from IFAB, the decision makers on the laws of the game, and having already found a bit of success with the 8-second rule around goalkeepers. We saw there was that ref cam the other day of Jared Gillett with doing the countdown on his fingers. 5, 4, 3, letting the goalkeeper know that you can have a corner against him.
But what did I say? Honestly, I don't mean to...
Yeah, no, I know you're not doing a Trevor Bailey, but you did say on this show they've got to bring it in really quickly for throw-ins. So you get those situations where...
Throw-ins, goal kicks, any restarts. Where, often the right-back might be the throw-in expert and he's out on the left and he saunters across and we all accept the fact he's going to take 25 minutes to get there because he's the throw-in expert. It's not good enough. No.
They need to do something about it. So... Graham Scott's going to join us, tell us what he makes and maybe any pitfalls. I mean, we can't see them. What do we know? But he's been in the middle of it all. So we'll chat to Graham shortly. We'll look at some of the transfer stories of the day. Mark Gay could happen in January, which is interesting. I mean, you kind of got the sense that he might wait until the summer with all those options.
Honestly, City are a ridiculous team, really. Every other team has an injury crisis and they have to deal with it. All they do is just go out and buy some more players. Wow. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah. Callum Wilson, we're going to look at that.
115 charges. We ask ourselves.
Tammy Abraham. Well, maybe they'll never see the Tammy Abraham, Jamal Lascelles covering some ground with, and a surprise one from Ben, which he's going to keep up his sleeve. Simon Waterson has worked with all the greats in Hollywood as a performance coach, including Daniel Gray. Daniel Craig, Daniel, the Borough fan and author. But he's delighted to know he had a personal. Sorry, Daniel. Yeah. Daniel Craig.
Oh, he's very fit.
I mean, he played Bond, Daniel Gray. It was a very kind of low-key Teesside Bond. It was a very different take on the Halle Berry he's worked with. Chris Evans, not our Chris Evans here, but Captain America. Tom Hiddleston. He's worked with them all. And he's going to join us for a bit of a chat. Later on, Stan Collymore's here. We've got a Falls panel. We'll run through the teams later. But yeah, let's kick off having a chat with Graham Scott, former Premier League ref, on some of those proposed law changes, maybe a few other things he'd like to see as well, and that interminable VAR decision the other day in the City game. So that's all to come. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We've been taking you through what should be another busy day of football. Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. So the International FA Board, IFAB for short, are going to have their annual business meeting in London next week. And one of the areas going to look to crack down on, which I think we'd all applaud because we're all absolutely sick of it, is time wasting, which has been indulged for far too long. And, teams have got a lot cuter along the way. A couple of things they're looking at, having already had the sort of ball in hand with the goalkeepers for 8 seconds, they're now looking at other restarts, goal kicks, and as Andy was just saying, throw-ins, which has become a much bigger deal.
Also, booking anybody for time wasting is a complete waste of time. I would imagine in history there's never been a player who received a second yellow for time wasting after he's done time wasting.
I think there might have been, but you'd have to go.
I bet it's not very common.
The one that always gets me is the referees allowing the goalkeeper to time waste to the 80th minute, giving him a spurious card, knowing he's not going to get a second one. So he's basically for most of the game he's got away with it. Anyway, what do I know? Let's speak to a former Premier League referee. Graham Scott joins us once again. Hi, Graham.
Hi, I can tell you straight away a player has the second yellow card for time wasting, but you probably missed it because it was Colchester United against Bristol Rovers.
Well done, Graham. Yeah, it's not common though, is it? Yeah, well done.
No, it's very rare, and it's genuinely. I mean, Premier League don't like it, and they tell us they don't like it if a player gets a second yellow in those circumstances, even though they want us to crack down on time wasting. Yeah. So we're kind of caught in the devil in the deep blue sea as ever.
It is a blind.
It needs to be it needs to be something enshrined in the rules. There's no question.
Yeah. I mean, if you were still at the sharp end and refereeing Premier League games under those new auspices, would you be happy? Would you be? I mean, as we said, we saw Jared Gillett with the fingers in the air, counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to tell a keeper to kick it out. So, would you welcome those changes to free kicks?
Yeah, I would. I've been really impressed by that change in the rules. I wasn't entirely convinced when it was mooted, but it's worked really well, I think. I watched a game the other day where the goalkeeper did the whole thing where he catches it, falls to the ground, flops to the floor, lies on the ground, but the referee's got his hand up in the air within a few seconds. And he did then release the ball. It also means that the attacking team do have to retreat. They have to let the goalkeeper release the ball. So we don't have that thing where someone stands on the goalkeeper and actually slows down the game. So it has been much better. And I do think it's a good idea to extend it to other restarts, particularly goal kicks and throw-ins. Corners a bit harder, but certainly goal kicks and throw-ins. Yeah. The devil will be in the detail. It's how you do it in practice. Yeah. And as a fan, I want it. And I'm a fan first and a referee second. As a ref, I'm not quite sure whether you go for some sort of 30-second clock like the American footballers have, or at some point in that process, the referee goes, right, I've had enough now, and I'm going to start a 5-second countdown. The problem with the latter is you will get inconsistency, and forever we're being berated for a lack of that. So how do we ensure that there's a fair system that isn't just used in an ad hoc way? But we have to find a way of doing it, definitely.
And it should definitely be a corner from a goal kick.
Yeah.
And the
throw should just go to the other team.
So that's what you think they do. They'll give the throw to the other team, Graham.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the only problem with that is everyone lines up for one type of throw in, and then all of a sudden we've got one the other way, and you then have to kind of delay that throw to give everyone the chance to get into place or not. I mean, how much do you do that?
It's like the ceremonial free kick, isn't it? As Graham Poll used to say, it's either like if you want to take it quickly, or you want the ceremonial where the wall's there and you're putting your hand in front. So it's a bit like that with the throw-ins, wouldn't it? I would think.
I think so, and the ceremonial free kicks, I think, are also part of the problem in time in the game, because we don't allow time for them. We don't add time on for those free kicks, and I think we probably should start, because if you look how long they take, they typically more than a minute of nothing. It's like watching a scrum in rugby union. And the clock's still going. You think, why? Nothing's happening. I'm not watching any football. So I think we need to do better on those. But obviously the teams want to set those up. Both teams want those set up properly, by the way. Not just the defending team want their wall, but the attacking team want the wall in the right place. And they want to be able to, prepare for what they're about to do. So I think that we could allow more time for those. It's just how you do it. But what I think will work with the goalkeeper and the 8 seconds is that you penalise the whole team with a sanction that means the goalkeeper just doesn't do it in the first place. That's what we want. We need to find something that has that effect.
And we've been hearing a lot the last few days about Wenger's law. Arsene Wenger has often banged on about this idea. Offsides where there's clear daylight between the attacker and defender.
Darren Cann yesterday.
Yeah, the former.
He said it would be worse, he said.
Yeah, I saw Darren Cann, the former assistant referee,
Yeah, I know Darren well, obviously. I'm inclined, I can see where he's coming from, actually. It's whether or not it's better for the game is for the game to decide. It's not for the referees to decide. We'll enforce what you ask us to enforce. But as he was pointing out, if you're on the touchline, it's very, very difficult to tell whether someone is clearly ahead of their opponent. It's much easier to tell whether a bit of their body is ahead of the opponent. And that this Premier League assistant referees are extraordinarily good at that, considering all the moving parts that are taking place. So if you have one of those, especially when you have one of those set plays where almost everyone is lined up along the 18-yard line, you've got so many bits of bodies in the way, that will become very, very difficult. And if we're going to have a law that's going to be applied not just in the Premier League, but in League One, League Two, in the dog and duck, then we need to have something that is practicable.
Yeah.
And I do think there is a real challenge with that approach. And I think the big problem is that we've decided, and we saw this on at Newcastle in the week, the clubs have decided they want a micro-millimetre approach to offside. And actually, we'd be better off taking a more common sense approach. But if we do that, then we'll be accused of lack of consistency, and we end up in that debate yet again.
It is amazing that 19 clubs, I know it's old news, but 19 clubs voted to keep VAR, one didn't. It's an amazing thing, really. It's like they're so not in touch with what the fans want. After the outpouring after last weekend.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute. First, our own Charlie Baker went viral. He was on with Danny Kelly on Wednesday, and he had this to say about VAR after that Newcastle City moment.
Football is for the fans, and VAR is not for fans. I honestly don't think if I supported a team that had VAR that I could watch it anymore. I don't think I could. It is a thief of joy. It is the thief of love. It is the thief of, you and I are artistic beings, Danny, and beauty is in the mistake. The gold is in the cracks, and that is why we like football, because it is full of mistakes.
There was a feeling, Graham, after the weekend with no VAR in the FA Cup. It did feel refreshing, and I was saying on Monday to Danny and to Andy that I think if we did away with VAR tomorrow, it would be better for referees, because people would say, well, look, OK, we tried something else and we realised it was killing the game. And there would be moments where maybe a ref made a mistake or an assistant referee made a mistake, but we'd say, hey, we know what the alternative is now. I'm quite happy to live with the odd error. I don't know how you feel about that.
I don't think that's what would happen. I think we'd just be battered again for a different reason. Look, I've been on your show before and I've said the same. As a fan, I wouldn't want VAR. I'd rather be in the stadium watching just a live game and accept that sometimes there's an error, and they'll go for me and they'll go against me. We tend to forget the ones that go for us. I noticed in Guardiola's rant midweek, he didn't mention the goal that was disallowed for Liverpool in the Man City-Liverpool game that went his way. That wasn't on his list of decisions that he hasn't liked. We forget those, don't we? Because they've gone for us. But as a ref on the field, you do want those clear errors put right. It's just what you define as a clear error. And we'll say, well, let's stick to factual stuff. But the factual stuff means that we don't look at handball. Well, that means the hand of God stands. That can't be right. That was what it was for. So the game needs to have a more mature debate, reach a consensus about what VAR really is for. The VAR in England does work, intervenes less than in other countries. That is just factually true. People say it works better elsewhere. It really doesn't. People don't watch La Liga to know. You don't watch Girona against Real Mallorca and go, oh, the VAR's working well. And if you are watching it, you not care about the outcome. Yeah. Do you really think the Spanish version of talkSPORT's full of people ringing up saying how lucky we are to have our VAR compared to the Premier League? Of course it is. Yeah. They just complain about different things. Yeah. So whichever way we go, we need to just crying out for this kind of more sensible, measured discussion. Of course, it's very hard to have that in this day and age. But one of the reasons I love coming on your show is you're prepared to have it. You're prepared to have that conversation. So let's try and get somewhere a bit more of the happy medium. I think some technology is bound to be here to stay. We're not going to get rid of goal line technology, are we?
No.
And we still want to know whether the fence is outside the area or inside the area. We want to know about factual offsides. The Fulham-Liverpool goal is a goal. I mean, that's in the way the system is programmed, that is a goal. Yeah. So, we want it for that. But where do you draw the line? And most of the errors with VAR, people don't always appreciate, are actually when the VAR doesn't come in. I'm only aware of one. There may have been two this season where the VAR's come in and made a perfectly valid decision wrong. And that definitely at Chelsea Fulham, as we know, very early on in the season. But otherwise, it's failing to come in that seems to be the problem. Well, surely that's the right side of the equation to be. Yeah. And actually, there are a lot of decisions put right that people just forget about. Early on in the season, Tottenham's first goal at Manchester City was given offside on field. It gets overturned very quickly. The goal stands. Tottenham go on to win the game 2-0. It gets forgotten that actually, without VAR, that goal would have been disallowed. And probably the game would have played out completely differently.
Yeah. As interesting as always, Graham. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Graham Scott, there, the former Premier League referee. And that phrase that Graham used there, pre-VAR, where you get some given, you don't get some given. We still say that with VAR.
Same thing.
We're saying the same thing. We're still saying it with VAR, aren't we? Nothing's changed.
In the game must have seen them. People who run the Premier League, they don't live in a vacuum. They must have seen what happened last weekend, and the absolute outpouring from people.
Too many egos, too much self-interest, too many people at the top of IFAB who think they're right all the time. I mean, we know we're talking.
Can you imagine running a Dutch second division team every time at IFAB meet? They'll be going, oh no!
It's always them, isn't it? They always try these things out in the Dutch second division. Top hats for all the strikers. Oh yeah, Dutch second division. They'll give that a go.
I like the idea of that.
If you're a fan of a Dutch second division team, give us a call. No, come on, please. Anyway,
let's see top hats in football.
Let's see more top hats up front in the Dutch second division. Oh, Ray, come on. Ben Jacobs joins us to look at some of the big transfer stories of the day. Maybe Mark Gay could be moving to City in this window. We'll find out more from Ben in a few moments' time.
We're going to start at Anfield. And what does Arne Slot make of Andy Robertson questioning his own Liverpool future over a lack of game time?
I think every player should have the same feeling about his current position, and that is that he's not starting every game.
Liverpool host Burnley tomorrow. Meanwhile, Man United, under new caretaker Michael Carrick, host Man City live on talkSPORT tomorrow lunchtime. And John O'Shea says, make no mistake, after doing well at Middlesbrough, Carrick wants to be a Premier League manager.
I know it's a different club and a different kettle of fish altogether, but he's one that I know he's cool and calm and has that stubbornness to be decisive, and he'll rise to the challenge, no problem.
Now, Tony Cottee has told talkSPORT West Ham's one-to-way midfielder owes the club a relegation scrap.
The club stood by him when he had all this stuff going on with the accusations and the FA after him. The West Ham stood by him. They kept him on full pay. He was still playing, and he owes the club. He owes the fans.
Lucas Paquetá wants to return to Flamengo in Brazil. We're told they're preparing a second bid. talkSPORT also understands Villa are increasingly confident of signing Tammy Abraham from Roma. It's after Donyell Malen went the other way. And Ruud van Nistelrooy's joining the Netherlands coaching staff. He'll be Ronald Koeman's assistant.
Transfer window. Breaking news on talkSPORT with Intuit QuickBooks. Tackle your self-assessment with Intuit QuickBooks. Search QuickBooks to find out more.
Yes, time to look at the transfer news now with Intuit QuickBooks. Joining us once again, transfer guru Ben Jacobs. Good afternoon, Ben.
Good afternoon.
Now, I think last time we spoke with, the kind of feeling was that maybe Mark Gay would wait to the summer and look at his options, which would be many, I would imagine. But potentially something could get done in January with City, we understand.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a twist here. So throughout much of the month, virtually every suitor thought Mark Gay, he would wait, be patient, take his pick of clubs and, of course, get a great financial package because of it. But now Manchester City, who we always said on talkSPORT would be the ones that might try and change the narrative, have opened formal talks with Crystal Palace. And they've basically got an agreement in principle with Mark Gahey on personal terms. So that means the Crystal Palace captain is fine moving now. And it will all basically come down to a club-to-club agreement. City will have to overpay, not in terms of bad value, but comparative to how long is left on Gay's contract. Liverpool, Arsenal, Bayern are not prepared to do that. Their stance is very clear. If Mark Gay wants to join, he has to wait, and then they get him more economically on a free transfer. But Man City want Mark Gahey now, and there is a very realistic chance that this move happens in the coming days.
It's strange by Liverpool because they need him and wanted him. So, and he's worth whatever money you have to pay for him, isn't he?
Yeah, why do you think then maybe could it turn into a bit of an auction could they go and do a deal and then it's up to the player?
Yeah, I think one consideration in all of this is, as we revealed on talkSPORT a few weeks ago, Crystal Palace won 35 million or more. So actually a higher number, or at least worst case equal to what Liverpool agreed over the summer. And that is because in an ideal world, they still prefer to keep their captain until the end of the season, but also they'll have to go into the market and find a replacement and potentially overpay themselves. So Liverpool are looking at what it takes wage-wise to get Gay to move now, plus the agent fees, plus effectively effectively a huge outlay comparative to what's left on his contract, and they're not prepared to do it because Liverpool have a strategy and they don't want to break their model because it might weaken their position in the market when they go for other names. And if you think about it, this isn't just about saying Man City are moving, so we better. It's basically all on the pitch to the player. So Liverpool have gone to the Gay side in the last few weeks and said, we want you. If you're going to wait for us, we'll take you in the summer. But if not, we're going to enter into other conversations so as to ultimately preserve the financial stability of the football club. And if Gay wants to go now, Liverpool is basically not an option.
So the wages for Gay at City are going to be massive, aren't they? He's foregoing a massive signing-on fee because he'll be a free in the summer, so it's all kind of going his way. So they're going to have to pay him a lot of money and a fairly hefty signing-on fee as well.
Yeah, I think Gay can basically ask for what he'd like in the summer, and Man City might well pay it now. My understanding is he's not unreasonable with his wage demands, but of course he wants to be a top 5 or 7 earner by Premier League standards at a Big 6 club, and Manchester City can fit him into the wage structure. I doubt the package will be that different to Antoine Semenyo. But once again, the advantage if you're Mark Gahey is that you can ask for the world in January and the same in the summer, and financially speaking, likely get it. And I'm told at this stage that Man City are likely to get Gahey over the line. And from Crystal Palace's point of view, they're aware that this deal is now getting really close because it looks like Man City are not only going to give Gahey what he wants, but be prepared to get somewhere close to Crystal Palace's asking price as well.
Now, some deals just sound right. And when Newcastle released Callum Wilson, Andy said on the show the following day, he's got West Ham written all over him. 2 days later, he went to West Ham. And we were talking the other day about Celtic as a possible destination. And that feels like a good fit. And there's been a bit of movement on that, hasn't there?
Yeah, there has been some movement. So we broke on talkSPORT yesterday that Celtic have made an initial inquiry, and really what they're trying to understand is, first of all, is Callum Wilson going to be released by West Ham, because then he's a free agent, it's far more economical. And secondly, what's the wage, and is there an appetite to go and play in the SPL? And although Wilson is open to SPL, the actual SPL that he's exploring more aggressively at the moment is the Saudi Pro League over the Scottish Premier League. So it's not to say that Celtic won't make a move, but that was only an initial inquiry. Leicester and Burnley did the same as well. But I'm told at this stage there's 2 Saudi clubs, Al-Ittifaq and Al-Shabaab, and it's Al-Shabaab that are moving, and they're expected to provide Wilson in the next sort of 72 hours or so with a formal offer. And then Wilson might even go on a bit of a fact-finding mission through, obviously, his people to work out whether he's open to Saudi Arabia. So, yes, Celtic could be a possibility, but keep an eye on Al-Shabaab as well, because Saudi have had Wilson on their radar since summer last year.
Are the wages as quite as spectacular as they were in that first wave of players who went to Saudi, Ben? Because obviously Celtic would struggle to match anything that the former sort of Saudi moves were coming up with.
Yeah, I think that's right. So Celtic are not going to be able to match the wage on offer by Al-Shabaab, but by the same token, Al-Shabaab are not going to be able to offer the same kind of wage as one of the PIF clubs. So my understanding is that a club like Al-Shabaab would be able to put a wage of somewhere in the region of 2.5 million per annum, but tax-free. And that is a big wage, but it's not astronomical, and it just shows you that when Saudi sides now are looking to sign an older kind of player, yes, they put impressive money in. There's bonuses and perks. You tend to get your accommodation paid for, flights back home, school fees sometimes for the family. So all in, it's a massive package, but we're definitely not talking about 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 a week or anything of that magnitude, which was some of the numbers flying around when older players went to Saudi Arabia in summer 2023 when this Saudi project first started.
But when just get something to clear up, actually, because we're going to probably talk about it throughout the window. If there are players potentially, who knows, Ivan Toney, coming back from the Saudi Pro League, what's the situation around the money they forfeit and whether they would need to pay tax if they come back early? Is there a sort of definitive take on that?
Yeah, so it's 2 full tax years, although there are some workarounds, and this is why, for example, some players, such as Jordan Henderson, when he first left Saudi Arabia without doing the 2 years, chose to leave and had deferred his wage at that point and then didn't return to England immediately, because had he done so, he would have got a much bigger tax bill. Riyad Mahrez and his family, as part of the deal when he first joined, even though he's now gone beyond 2 years, got citizenship within the UAE and set up a kind of business company for his brand out of there. So then obviously if he leaves Saudi Arabia, he can fall back to where his business and his family are and end up also avoiding a big tax bill. But the long and short of it, in basic layman's terms, is you've got to see through 2 full tax, not calendar years. And if you do so, then that money that you've earned becomes somewhat tax deductible, but it also depends on the nationality and where you've moved from. So it's a little bit more complicated. But for an English player like Ivan Toney, see out the full 2 years and you should be okay.
Let's get an update on Tammy Abraham as well. We're hearing a lot about him going to Villa now. Daniel Marlin's leaving or left. So where are we at with that?
Yeah, to clear up Daniel Marlin as well. So it was announced this morning, and Roma said option to buy, and Aston Villa said a undisclosed fee. And the reason why there's no continuity between what each club say is because it's actually a conditional obligation. So technically Roma are right. It starts as a buy option, but it will be triggered by only a handful of appearances. So that's as good as a permanent exit. And then Villa are quite confident on Tammy Abraham, to my knowledge. He's going to cost in excess of £10 million, but under 15 million. The challenge is not Roma, because in doing the Malian deal, Villa spoke to Roma and they know Roma are prepared to sell, and it's not a crazy price, although Abraham's wage is obviously relatively high. But because he's on loan at Besiktas and they have a conditional obligation to buy, first Villa, Roma and Besiktas need to get on the same page. And if Besiktas are willing to release Tammy Abraham and there's no mid-season break clause, then there'll be a pathway to a deal. But that's the hurdle and the complication, the Besiktas element of this story, because I'm told Tammy Abraham is keen on a move to Villa Park.
And just finally, I understand we're a bit tight for time, but just briefly, if you can, a little quirky one you've got on the transfer front for us.
Yes, this is Robbie who's playing over in Sweden for a side called Sirius. And he's Scottish by birth and 21 years of age, but he's in the process of trying to move to a Ukrainian club. And regardless of that, his grandfather is actually a Ukrainian national. So this young Scottish striker is actually gaining through his grandfather Ukrainian citizenship, knowing he's not going to make the Scotland squad. And he's hoping to be included in the World Cup playoffs in March. And then if Ukraine reach the World Cup, the Scottish striker will actually turn out for Ukraine, which could be a fascinating story.
I hope he doesn't get drafted. Let me thought this through.
No.
Ben, good to talk to you. Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot.
There we are. There's Ben Jacobs with the latest on the transfer window.
See Ivan Toney's penalty in the Saudi Pro League.
No.
The goalkeeper was standing there and he was pointing to where he thought Toney would put it.
Yeah.
And for quite a long time, just goading him. So Ivan just put it in that corner, went up to him and started doing the same thing to the ground.
It takes a lot to put him off
And
of
then
a
there was a
penalty. Well, his name may come up. TalkSport.com is where it's all unfolding. But we're going to chat to Simon Waterson next. He is an elite performance coach for a lot of Hollywood stars, including Daniel Craig in his James Bond years. He's going to try and, yes, we're going to talk about, everybody has these New Year's resolutions about trying to get fitter. So Simon's been looking into that. He's going to have a chat about that with us. In a few moments' time, we're here with Tool Station. Pick up your wet weather essentials. Next stop, Tool Station.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We've been taking you through what should be another busy day of football. Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Just before we chat to our next guest, a little bit of breaking news for you. Oliver Glasner, in his press conference today, has confirmed that he will leave Palace at the end of the season. He's informed the club he's looking for a new challenge. He has also said that Gay won't be in the squad for the weekend because the City deal is in its closing stages. So we'll have some
Feels
reaction.
like a real opportunity lost for Crystal Palace.
It does. I'm sure Palace fans will be very frustrated by this, or not. Let us know. talksport.com/H&J. You can text to 81089. You can tweet to TSH&J. You can give us a call, 03717223344, and we will have some reaction to that very, very shortly from one of our top Palace pundits. But Glasner off, and it would seem Gay off as well in this window. But we're joined now by Simon Waterson. He is an elite performance coach, ex-Forces. He has worked with a lot of Hollywood stars, Halle Berry, Chris Evans for Captain America, Tom Hiddleston for Loki, and also Daniel Craig for the Bond films. He's been doing a new bit of research about the thing that a lot of us do, obviously, in January, so I've got to get fitter this year. Good afternoon again, Simon. Good to see you.
How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. So tell us a bit more about, I suppose I'm a living example of this. I was watching Paul and Bob Gone Fishing at Christmas. Yeah. And Bob had that grip test. Did you see it at the Christmas show? Had the grip test thing. And he was talking about as you get older, that thing that is a real kind of, it tells you an awful lot about your physical fitness, and physical fitness being important as you get older. Now, I run a bit and I do a lot of walking and stuff, but I'd kind of gone away from doing weights. But I've decided since Christmas, I'm just doing a little sort of basic dumbbell workout 5-6 days a week, just 15 minutes.
That's it.
Because it's scary.
On YouTube, Paul looks like Charles Atlas.
No, but it's,
that's it.
But it's not to bulk up. It's just purely to get some,
just
sort of muscles.
Maintain your muscle.
Yeah, a big thick. But it's honestly, it is 10-15 minutes. At the moment, I'm keeping it up.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah,
it's all about kind of like a bit of consistency. Yeah. Kind of like lifting a bit of resistance. Not stressing out about kind of like being able what you can lift or what you can do.
Yeah.
Kind of like have a little bit of structure, kind of like keeps the anxiety away, keeps your shape as well. And as men, we get to a certain age and we the notorious kind of like dad bod. And
no need to look at me. That's very harsh.
So, how many people actually? I mean, the gyms love January, don't they? Because a lot of people join them, they maybe never come back again.
Yeah.
What's the key? I think to keeping going.
I think the drop off is about like 36-40%. Like is the drop off like around kind of like January the 16th, 17th that we're at now. But I think it's just kind of like making sure that you've got like. You've got a little bit of, you're motivated through other people. You've got like a training partner, or you've got like a running buddy, or you kind of like you go in, you've got good metrics. You got something to help you along the way, a good bit of tech. Everyone's got their different metric, what they like to use, whether it's kind of like how far you can run, how fast you can run, what you can lift, like how your trousers are fitting.
Yeah, of course. That's a pretty good metric.
It's a metric. It's no stress. There's no stress there. And then you can just take it a little bit further. You can use different apps. You've got like NutriCheck, which can keep an eye on your calories for you and help you and educate you at the same time. I think kind of like with fitness now, you need a tiny bit of education. You need to know exactly what you're eating and what you're putting in your body.
Yeah.
And then the biggest thing nowadays, especially in pro sport and in general population, it's mental health and awareness. How you're feeling? How's your brain feeling? Do you know how to relax your brain? Because your brain is the most the most important element.
Sure.
The body is just secondary.
Your research, actually, some of the research you did, 34% of people admit they ate foods in December they wouldn't normally just because they were there. And it's almost like a free... We all think Christmas is a free hit. That couple of weeks, we just gorge ourselves, don't we, generally?
Yeah, we do. But you've got to be a little...
It's a good thing.
It is a good thing. It's
a
good thing, but there's a certain amount of balance in there. You've got to be a little bit kind of like balanced of like what you're eating, because but it translates over. You're submerged in pro sport. We're looking at major athletes now, like on the TV of like what they're doing, and especially kind of like within football. They are just like metric to hell. They're whether it's speed, body fat, kind of like, but...
And yet there's more injuries than ever before.
There is more injuries than ever before because we're tracking more, because there's more to track, and if you track more, then you kind of like, you're going to find more. And I think now you should be really kind of like looking at like, how you're tracking your brain, like anxiety levels, and, because with everything you do via stress, the brain is releasing a chemical that is kind of like affecting your body.
Yeah.
So, and that's a big thing that, it's good, like laughter, How often do we all tell jokes and have a laugh? I know there's camaraderie.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Andy normally writes the jokes, so he's not used to the sound of laughter.
Well, no, exactly. Exactly. But it's the same in film, I've done a lot of films, and I use a lot of, especially kind of like protocols from sport, especially football. So, for instance, for me, there's pre-season, I have pre-production to get an actor ready for a role. And then during season, we are actually then filming. I have to have a maintenance plan. And then afterwards, we have post-production, where we kind of like, we do all the things to bring ourselves down and use all the recovery drills.
I mean, how great are the transformations, Sums? You've worked with lots of different actors. I mean, sort of Chris Evans is a big lad. Daniel Craig, we see him emerging from the sea and all that. But someone like Tom Hiddleston, sort of, I mean, he's in The Night Manager at the moment, and he's one of those sort of thoroughbred racehorse types. There's not a lot of fat on him. He does not particularly muscular, particularly ripped, but you can see he's in good shape.
Oh, he's in amazing shape. Yeah. And he's one of the very few where I don't need to motivate him. Yeah. It's kind of easy. I've got to put the reins on him and like pull him back from doing too much. He's doing too much, and that's a bit of a nightmare when he's trying to put on a little bit of muscle tissue. He's kind of like running 10K every morning. It's good for his head. He likes his headphones in. It takes him out of his kind of like out of the film world and allows him to kind of like relax and decompress. Plus as well, and also as well, I mean, I remember working with him in Night Manager, getting ready for that. And then he had the football, the charity match in between.
Oh yes, Soccer Aid.
Soccer Aid, which he is like always kind of up for. I don't think. I mean, and you're trying to encourage him, but you're going to film, Tom. You're doing the Night Manager. What if you get injured? What if you kind of like do X, Y, and Z? And he's like, no, don't worry about that. Let's just kind of keep cracking on. No one will kind of even notice.
You're going to be on the telly on
the
Sunday
telly,
night.
yeah.
So it's all on the NutriCheck website. All the details of the January New Year reset. You're a Hull City fan. That's where you grew up. But you're a Chelsea man as well, like Andy. This is a strange... Andy's dad was from Hull.
Yeah.
And you're from Hull and a Chelsea fan, much like him.
Exactly the same. Yeah. So I've got... I mean, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but yeah, you got to follow the two-team thing.
Yeah.
For my dad, I'm more like Hull, and then for...
and now they're playing each other in the Cup.
Now they're playing each other in the Cup, yeah. And I knew when that draw was going to come out. I was like, oh...
Yeah.
I knew it.
Well, Simon, lovely to see you again. And we wish you well with everything you're up to. You're still working with the Stars at the moment?
I am, yeah. Avengers next.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, okay.
Nice.
You've got a few to choose from there.
A few there.
Nice one. Cheers, Simon. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Simon Waterson there, Hollywood Elite Performance Coach. And as we said, Nutracheck's January New Year Reset, their survey is on their website. We're going to be talking Palace next. Ian Holloway, former Palace manager, joins us. Oliver Glasner's just confirmed in the last 15, 20 minutes or so that he will leave at the end of the season. And Mark Gay's move, he's also revealed, is very, very close to getting done with City. Ollie, has been there and done it, but Palace will be chatting to him very shortly. Ian Holloway joining us very, very shortly for obvious reasons, as will be all explained by Will Hobbs now in the sports headlines.
talkSPORT Sports Update powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles built around your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Good afternoon. Ollie Glasner has just confirmed he will leave Crystal Palace at the end of this season. Glasner took over in February 2024 from Roy Hodgson and, of course, won the club's first ever FA Cup in the summer. But, of course, they're already out of this year's tournament, courtesy of Macclesfield. His confirmation comes along with another confirmation that Mark Gahey won't play for Palace again because his transfer to Manchester City is in the closing stages. It's understood the player is keen and City are looking to negotiate down to a £35 million asking price. We'll have more with Alex Crook very shortly. Well, the manager who publicly bemoaned missing out on Gahey in September was Arne Slot, who's been asked what the priorities are for the rest of his season.
We all know how important it is for any club, but definitely also for this club, to qualify for Champions League. That didn't happen 2 or 3 years ago, I think, and that had a big impact financially on the club.
He hopes the returning Mo Salah can be back to face Marseille in the Champions League on Wednesday, live on talkSPORT. Mikel Arteta, meanwhile, has been asked whether Victor Gyökeres is facing unfair criticism.
I don't know. It's part of the expectations, but not only for Victor, it's for every number 9 in the league or in every top club. or in every position that you play, or in my seat, we expect to be really good, really consistent, and to win constantly, and that's what we have to try to do.
Meanwhile, ahead of tomorrow's Manchester derby, live on talkSPORT, Harry Maguire's called Michael Carrick a magnificent coach.
Yeah, I think he's trying to bring new energy, new ideas without drilling us too much at this moment tactically. I think he just wants to bring the energy back in the building, and obviously this club is scrutinised, a lot of eyes on it all the time, analysed, and a lot of people can lose a little bit of energy within that.
Will Carrick's successor be Ollie Glasner? We shall see. The derby is live and exclusive tomorrow on talkSPORT, kick-off 12:30. And Aston Villa are confident of signing Tammy Abraham on a 4.5-year deal from Roma. That's after Donyell Marlin completed his move the other way for £21.6 million. There's more, as ever, on talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
A tribunal's ruled an NHS trust violated the dignity of nurses in allowing a transgender colleague to use a female changing room, and a would-be Southport copycat killer's been locked up for 14 months. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Today it's raining tyres in our centres, including top-notch brands like Pirelli. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Mixture of sunshine and showers, heaviest showers in the west and southwest, where hail and thunder's possible, breezy with average temperatures.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We'll hear from Michael Carrick a bit later on this hour, and we'll hear from a former Palace player in Stan Collymore to get his take on that news that we'll just brought you, that Oliver Glasner has just said in his press conference that he'll leave at the end of the season. He said he's going to do his best to get the points record. I've promised the players we will do everything to bring another trophy back to Selhurst Park. There are inherent problems in managers saying they're going before the end of the season. Ian Holloway hopefully joining us for a chat shortly. Alex Crook, who's already done 3 hours today, but made the mistake of not leaving the building, has popped back in. Crookie, I mean, it is. We kind of
unhappy for some time.
Yeah, we sort of expected this might happen. As we said, there is that danger of being a sort of lame duck manager where it's hard to bring players in on that basis. They don't know who the manager's going to be, so that will be for January and potentially the summer, unless they announce somebody. And also, players that are there, those players that maybe were looking elsewhere, Wharton and Mateta and others. What are they? Where's their head at the moment?
Yeah, this was always a fear, I think, for Crystal Palace fans. I reported way back in September, about a week after the transfer window closed, that the Palace hierarchy weren't confident that Oliver Glasner would extend his stay beyond the end of the season. I think the timing of his announcement is interesting because it literally came 10 minutes after we were reporting on talksport.com that Mark Gay is on his way to Manchester City. There's an agreement in principle between the two clubs. Glasner has said that Gay won't play for Palace this weekend. He's going to undergo a medical at Manchester City. So to lose your manager and your FA Cup winning centre-back on the same day is a huge blow for Crystal Palace. And I think this is a byproduct of the fact they weren't ambitious enough in the summer to build on their FA Cup success. They didn't really strengthen the squad.
And he was very open about that.
He was. They lost Eberici Eze without really replacing him. And Yeremy Pino has come in and done well, but he's not a like-for-like replacement. And obviously it was on the final day of the transfer window. They tried to sell Mark Gay to Liverpool. It was Glasner who dug his heels in. I stand by what I reported on deadline day, that he told the Palace hierarchy, if you sell Mark Gay, I'm off. He threatened to quit. And obviously they've kept Gay, but only for 6 months. And it's a shame for Crystal Palace because I think what they achieved last season was miraculous, really. That FA Cup final victory, thoroughly deserved against Manchester City. Obviously, because of a paperwork error, they lost their place in the Europa League, but it means they're one of the favourites to win the Conference League. But I agree with you. Whenever a manager announces mid-season that he's off, it does affect the dressing room, and this is going to cast a cloud over the second half of the season. They haven't done as well in the conference as other English teams have done in the past. Villa, West
and we've seen the struggle they've had with just the amount of games.
Yeah, that's purely because they don't have the squad depth. I don't understand. If you had a manager like him, he won the FA Cup, you're challenging top 6 of the Premier League. Why don't you back him? I don't get it. I don't get what now they're going to pay the price. It's bizarre. And when we had John Textor in the studio with Jim and Simon, he said, didn't he, that maybe Steve Parish didn't have the same ambition
that perhaps he did, and I think that's borne fruit. And you're right, whenever he's tried to rotate this season, he did it at home to Larnaca. That was a shock defeat in the Conference League. He did it in their final match when they needed a win to go straight through to round of 16.
Now he's got 2 more games.
And they've got 2 extra games in that competition. And obviously, he did it to a certain extent against Macclesfield at the weekend, left out Jean-Philippe Mateta.
Yeah.
And that's one of the most embarrassing FA Cup defeats in recent times. So it shows you the squad is probably not deep enough to compete. And there was always a concern this would be a pack of cards because we knew that Glasner was going to go. We knew that Gay was certainly going to go in the summer and potentially, as he is in this transfer window. Adam Wharton, Manchester United and Chelsea, both very keen to sign him. Jean-Philippe Mateta doesn't seem to want to sign a new contract. So you do fear a little bit for Palace next season.
Finally, quickly, where do you see him turning up? Do you see him going abroad? He'd have options abroad. Somebody mentioned him for Real Madrid yesterday.
It's a big leap from Crystal Palace.
Yes, but
he doesn't want to go to a club where it's like Chelsea and one of those where the sporting directors call all the shots. No. He's very strong.
There are some big jobs potentially on the horizon in the summer. Maybe he's kind of smoking these people out by saying it now.
Yeah, as I say, the timing is really interesting. He is on Manchester United's shortlist of potential candidates. They are looking for Premier League experience, but I sort of agree with what Andy was saying there. Will he operate with Jason Wilcox and Omar Barada calling the shots? I'm not entirely convinced by that. People close to Glasner have always suggested to me that maybe a return to Germany is most likely. It'll be in demand because there's no question he's done wonders at Crystal Palace. He's been a tremendous manager.
Thanks, Crookie. Thanks very much for popping back in again. So we're going to hear from Michael Carrick a little bit later on. Let's chat to a former Crystal Palace manager, man who took him up, of course. It is Ian Holloway. Good afternoon, Ollie.
Good afternoon, lads. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Just listening to that conversation with Crookie, you caught some of that. We're talking about lame duck managers. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you've told people you're going 4 or 5 months before you go, but the outcome doesn't tend to be positive when that happens.
Mate, it's a strange old world these days, isn't it? You in the Premier League, you don't want to get the manager of the month because you might be gone the following month, so it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But from Palace's point of view, I have to say, how hard is it to continue to compete at the level they were if your best players are going to be taken away from you over and over and over again? No, that's the biggest problem. That's what Oliver would have looked at. And that's Palace's. They've done so well, completely insanely well. I'm so proud of them, and how Steve Parish has managed to never get relegated, always keep going. And Oliver was a fantastic manager, absolutely outstanding what he's done with that group and the skill level. If you watch Abire, he's gone to Arsenal. That was his club, and oh wow, what he did for Palace was completely beautiful and wonderful. And Elise, the other side, it's very, very tough when you're trying to compete and how much the wages are now for these lads, what they can get at the top clubs. And I remember Steve Parish saying to me his ambition was, why can't we be a top 10 club? Well, the top 6 are way ahead of the top 10. Do you get what I mean? And that's your problem. How are you going to... The wages, oh my goodness me. And let's just talk about Gay. What about how brilliant he was for Palace and how brilliant he was in how professional he's been. He deserves a move, just like Semenya, and I believe Palace will continue to be strong, but it's not good. It would be better for them if Glasner found a place right now and he went and they it's all about commitment. Players want commitment. Are we going to be good? Are we going to be doing? And they want to know who they're working for.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've been in a dressing room as player and manager, and do you, what's the kind of reaction of players if they know? Like, the Palace players are all going to be on the WhatsApp group. They're all going to be talking. They probably knew this was coming anyway, but still, they'll be on to their agents. So where does this leave me? Should I? I mean,
they're victims of their own recruitment, Palace.
Yeah.
We said at the end of last season when they won the cup, they get 6 players that would walk into top 4 teams. They've got very good players.
They've done that. It's just it's churn, isn't it? It's letting those guys go and replacing them with equal quality. And I think that was the frustration for Oliver Glasner.
Well, I think they haven't caught up to that level yet. This is the whole problem. How many years has it taken Arsenal to come second, and be close? And they haven't caught up for 20 years, have they, for what their previous manager, where they put them in Arsene Wenger. So, and look at Man United, they're scrambling to try and get even half as famous as they were with Sir Alex in control. So Oliver was vital to this, and really, in my experience, it would be better if he left and someone else took him now. Now he's actually stated it. It's a very difficult situation.
Yeah.
To get someone to commit to the club if you're not yourself. So, you know, it is a problem, but all I want to do is congratulate him. I think he deserves a fantastic job, what he's done for Palace, how Palace have progressed and grown. It's going to be difficult for anyone to keep that going, but I'm sure I've been there. I worked there myself. It was something to be proud of, and you know, they've got to try and find these lads who aren't quite top level and keep working with them to be top level. And that togetherness was what won them with the skill was incredible. And well done to Oliver. I'm sure they will keep being strong. The Palace deserve it. I think they've earned it. Massive congratulations. They haven't even been close to the troubles that you normally get by getting there. They've actually gone way above that and won a trophy, and deservedly won the FA Cup last year, knocking out who they knocked out. So I think they shouldn't be too down. I think they should be very proud of where they are. If you look at the club, it is a top 10 club. Well done, Steve. Absolutely fantastic. Can you now get some help to move on and keep going? Because where it's going to go, there's no limit to what these others are going to spend and how much the wages are going to be, and all the best trying to keep up with that. So I'd be very, very pleased. You might not have ever had these days. Oliver's brought you them. So has Gahey. Absolute class. He's never moaned. He's always got on with it. Like he's like, that was terrible what he did to Newcastle and how that panned out. That was awful. But at the end of the day, Gahey deserves it. Izabire deserves it, and Palace will always find others, you know, and I hope they find as many as they can, as quick as they can.
Yeah. Well, let's hope they can, Ollie. Yeah, let's hope they can bounce back from this, because the fans will be hurting today. Look, we appreciate your time. It's sort of a big match this weekend with Swindon. All the best. Thanks very much, Ollie. Thank you.
Thanks very much, chaps. All the best. Up the Palace. Go on.
Still got very happy memories of working there, clearly. Jason Punch is going to join us for a chat. Spent a good few years there in their midfield, so we'll chat to him shortly. We're going to hear from you. Interested to hear from you, Palace fans. How are you feeling about this? It won't come as a massive shock, as we were saying, but to have it sort of spelt out and to know that you're losing Gay on the same day. But again, that was going to happen in the summer, but it's going to be a tough old few months, isn't it? I would think, for their fans. 03717223344, talksport.com, text to 81089, tweet to TSH and J. Stan Collymore, former Palace player, will be joining us for a chat, and we'll get his take on what's gone on there at his old club later on. We're here with Tool Station. Pick up your wet weather essentials today. Next stop, Tool Station.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football. Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Time now for our bet builder with our friends at Paddy Power. We welcome Max Thompson. We're going to look ahead to tomorrow's Manchester derby at Old Trafford. And it's live on talkSPORT, of course. Hi, Max.
Hey lads, how's things?
Yeah, not so bad.
We're on form. We had 4 legs of the bet builder come up with one void, so we won a bit of money.
Yeah, we did. We've had a couple of. Let's see if we can. We're trying to play a bit safer maybe this week. Let's see how we're getting on. It's probably worth just briefly explaining how the bet builder works, Max.
Yeah, good stuff. Hopefully get another winner here. But the bet builder will have Paul having a pick, Andy's got a pick, Sean the producer has a pick. The people have a pick, which is the most popular bet on Paddy Power at the minute, and then I also have a pick. So that brings us to a 5-leg bet builder, which hopefully will win, and all the proceeds will go to our charity partner, which is the Attitude Foundation.
United's record against City, not a terrible one. I've gone both teams to score.
Yeah, both teams to score. It's happened in the last 4 Man United games, and Man City even conceded against Exeter there recently, didn't they? So you could see that happening again.
Yeah, albeit in a 10-1.
Yeah. What's the best goal of the year?
Andy, I think yours
Still
feels
counts.
like quite a safe bet, the way he's starting for City.
Yeah, Semenyo to have 1 or more shots on target.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's made some start to his Man City career, hasn't he? Couldn't have asked for much better. 2 goals in 2 games. Heading into his 3rd game here, you'd expect him to at least have a shot on target or even score.
Producer Sean, gone for Foden to score any time.
Yeah, Foden to score any time. If you look back to the last time City played United, it was a 3-0 win and Foden got the first goal. So he is likely to score again this time, I'd say.
The people wanting unpopular bets for the Paddy Power punters doing a bet builder. Haaland to have 2+ shots on target.
Yeah, no surprise here. Top scorer in the Prem with 20 goals. His stats are outrageous. He also scored twice last time these sides played. So you'd expect Haaland to at least hit the target here again.
And you've gone for a City win.
Yeah, if you look at both teams, the last 3 games, they both drawn all 3. So some might say it will be a draw, but City seriously need to win to keep the pressure on Arsenal at the top, and Man United are in a bit of a mess at the minute. So I'm going for the City win. I'm confident.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, they need it more than United in a sense, but they could get a bit of a new manager bounce. They've got a good record. It's often a tight game.
I wouldn't rule out a draw, but I'd probably, Anyway,
the last one, City.
Let's hope it all comes off. What are we looking at then, Max, across the board if it does?
Yeah, not too outrageous this one. It's 9-1, so £10 would return around £100 hopefully for our charity partner.
Yeah, fair enough.
Excellent, that's good. Cheers, Max. Have a good weekend.
Great stuff, you guys do.
That's Paddy Power's bet builder for today. Minimum odds 1 to 5 per leg. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
The breaking news in the last half hour or so of Oliver Glasner has confirmed that he will leave Palace at the end of the season. He's promising to work incredibly hard. He's told the players he's going to give everything until the moment he leaves the club, but it's not an ideal situation for Palace fans, coupled with the fact that Mark Gay is off to City. A deal has not been confirmed but has effectively been done. Let's have a chat with a former Palace midfielder, spent about 6 years at the club. Jason Punchin joins us. Hi, Jason. Hello, Jason.
Hi, guys. How are we doing? You okay?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, tough old day for Palace fans today. I mean, it's a bit of a double whammy, isn't it? A Gay confirmation.
I wonder why he's announced it now. Do you think it is to do with the Gay?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. You know, if he did say at the start of the season that was a deal breaker for him, Gay going, I wonder now he is going at this point of the season. He feels that he has to kind of go public as well.
Yeah, I think it's a big shock for everyone. I think more so the manager. I think the Guy situation we knew was happening, but the manager to announce now is probably sort of a double-edged sword. As Guy is going, he sort of announces that and lets everyone get over that.
I mean, how would you feel in a dressing room if you knew the manager was off? I mean, whatever the manager says, it is unsettling, isn't it?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think what he's done for the Crystal Palace Football Club and those players. Some of those players was never heard of before he come in, and now the club's won the FA Cup, and the manager's going to leave, so they're going to think their future's uncertain as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, they're going to have to work their magic to find, unearth that talent and try and keep building on what they've been doing before. But it's not going to be easy. I mean, he's not going to struggle to find another job, isn't he, Oliver Glasner, because of the job he's done at Palace?
No, I think he's a top manager. I think he will find another job for sure. I just think when you look at it in these situations, you look at previous experience with your Klopps, whatever happens from now to the end of the season, there's always an excuse as to why that happened. I just generally hope that Palace can have another great end to the season and finish on a high.
Yeah. And as we were saying earlier on, that there's other players there that whose futures aren't certain. Adam Wharton is in demand, isn't he? And Jean-Philippe Mateta kind of wants out. Munoz. So yeah, there are good players there, and they're going to want sound reasons and a good manager to work under to stay.
Yeah, I just think, look, we have to be realistic as Palace fans. Our club is going to be a selling club when the big clubs come. We can't hide that. Look at the Guy situation. I just think it's good for us now that the club is in a position to actually produce these players and be able to sell them to the big clubs like Man City. I think it's actually credit to Crystal Palace, to the coach, and to the board as well.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at the job. That's absolutely true. So yeah, I mean, the Gay situation. He has been a good pro, much like Semenyo in leaving Bournemouth. He's done everything he can. He's worked hard for the team in this 6 months. He didn't sulk when he didn't get the move in the summer. So I think he'll get a good reception when he comes back to Palace, won't he?
Yeah, I think he deserves that. I think he's done fantastic for Crystal Palace while he's been there. He's remained professional. He's not tried to force anything. And now, what do you really do when Man City come calling? You can't really say no if the offer makes sense to the football club, and it's fair play to the player to go to a big team like that.
We're saying to him, it's got to make good sense for him as well, because as a free agent in the summer, he had the world at his feet, and financially as well. And this will be, probably maybe his last big move. Who knows? So, I mean, I imagine the deal he's getting at City is a pretty substantial one to make up for that.
Yeah, I think, look, as a professional, if that was me in that position, then I would be looking more at the Man City effect rather than what financially I'm going to get, because it's a massive chance to go and work under Pep Guardiola and Manchester City, what they are. I think that's the bigger picture I would be looking at as a player for him.
Yeah, and you don't doubt he's going to be successful there, do you? I mean, of
course.
Again, a bit like Semenyo, if you're buying players that are Premier League sort of oven ready.
You're buying quality. You're paying for the top dollar, but you're buying quality.
And you've got no period of adjustment because, I mean, we've seen that already with Semenyo. 2 goals in 2 games. He looks like he's been there for years.
Yeah, I think, look, we all know, I think all the players speak about, I think when you go back to Pep, you learn football again. And I think the players that get themselves in those positions, they've earned that accreditation. And now Mark just needs to go there and build on that and show that he's worth to be in that team week in, week out.
Yeah. Appreciate your time, Jason. Thanks ever so much.
Cheers, guys.
Here we are. Jason Punchin, the former Palace midfielder, with his thoughts on Glasner and indeed Gay leaving. But Gay's going to be going in the next couple of days. Glasner will see it through to the end of the season. We'll bring you a few more of the quotes in that press conference when he announced it very shortly. Stan Collymore played for Palace as well. We'll get his take on that. We'll have a Falls panel. These are the games. I haven't got round to giving you the games yet. Manchester United versus Manchester City, live on talkSPORT tomorrow lunchtime. Tottenham West Ham, I'm going to that one with my tin hat on. El Sacico, they're calling it, maybe a bit much. That's 3 o'clock. Updates on talkSPORT. And Brighton Bournemouth on Monday evening, live on talkSPORT. If you want to try and predict the scores of those games, take us on, Stan on, Ollie Klink as well, our commentator. 03717 223344. That's 03717 223344. Very happy to hear from the Palace fans as well today. Talksport.com, text to 81089, tweet to TSH&J, 03717 223344. But call us now on that number. We'll call you back and we'll get you in 15 minutes to represent the TalkSport listeners in today's Falls panel. We'll get the news headlines next.
We're going to start at Anfield. And what does Arne Slot make of Andy Robertson questioning his own Liverpool future over a lack of game time?
I think every player should have the same feeling about his current position, and that is that he's not starting every game.
Liverpool host Burnley tomorrow. Meanwhile, Man United, under new caretaker Michael Carrick, host Man City live on talkSPORT tomorrow lunchtime. And John O'Shea says, make no mistake, after doing well at Middlesbrough, Carrick wants to be a Premier League manager.
I know it's a different club and a different kettle of fish altogether, but he's one that I know he's cool and calm and has that stubbornness to be decisive, and he'll rise to the challenge, no problem.
Now, Tony Cottee has told talkSPORT West Ham's one-to-way midfielder owes the club a relegation scrap.
The club stood by him when he had all his stuff going on with the accusations and the FA after him. The West Ham stood by him. They kept him on full pay. He was still playing, and he owes the club. He owes the fans.
Lucas Paquetá wants a return to Flamengo in Brazil. We're told they're preparing a second bid. talkSPORT also understands Villa are increasingly confident of signing Tammy Abraham from Roma. It's after Daniel Marlon went the other way. And Ruud van Nistelrooy is joining the Netherlands coaching staff. He'll be Ronald Koeman's assistant.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Michael Carrick has just been chatting to the press for the first time as the interim head coach. We'll hear more throughout the afternoon and into the evening, I'm sure. And we'll get Stan's take on that appointment. Stan Collymore is going to be with us after we've heard from Michael Carrick, who was asked how he feels about being the interim head coach.
Yeah, listen, it's fantastic to be here. It's a great feeling for me to be in this position. You know, I think played different roles for this club and learned to fall in love with the club for so long, and it's a massive part of my life and has been for so long. And so I'm fully aware of the position I'm in. You know, in so many different ways. So as well as that, I'm eager to succeed. You know, we've got a big job to do. It's an important job, and it always is here to win games and to play well and to do it in a certain way. So there's one side of it is nice to be here, but the other side of it is focus, concentration, and a real drive to improve the team and improve results. Yeah, I think improvement. You know, I think certainly improvement and helping improve individuals. I think a big part of what I really enjoy is improving individuals, and in the end, I think if you improve the individuals, we create a better team. So certainly working with the players and improving them with that, I think. And yeah, listen, results. You know, that's what it is. There's an element of performance, there's an element of improvement, and there's an element of doing what it takes to win in certain ways and certain occasions. So certainly higher up the league we finish, we want to keep pushing and finishing high up as we possibly can, and we'll see where that takes us.
Michael Carrick in his first press
conference. He's looking for improvement.
Well, I read in between the lines, subliminally. I think he is looking for improvement. Stan Collymore joins us, former Palace striker. We'll come on to that. Hi, Stan.
Paul, Andy, how are you?
Not so bad. Let's start with Michael Carrick. What have you made of that appointment?
Yeah, I mean, it's lukewarm from my perspective. It's Manchester United going over the same kind of playbook that they've done in recent years. There's three pillars to it. Either go back to former players, harking back to former glories, know the club, etc., etc. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Fletcher, Carrick, get an exciting young coaching from abroad. Amorim, that didn't work. All the tried and trusted, the likes of Van Gaal, Rangnick and Mourinho, and none of them have worked. I think that they need to do some really hard thinking, and they're going to get the opportunity to do that over the next 4 or 5 months. Glasner is very interesting in terms of the timing. I just heard one of your previous guests saying may well go back to Germany, but I think that anybody, if they're offered a Manchester United job or mooted interest, they would snap your hands off for it. So I think he would be a very interesting potential candidate for Man United. But I think in terms of Michael Carrick, he's just a temporary placeholder. Can we get performances better? Can we improve individual players? Can we inject a little bit of that sort of, early 2000s Manchester United spirit back into the team and into the club, make everybody go home and feel happy? And that's where Manchester United are at. I don't think it's particularly creative thinking, but the state that the whole club and edifice that Manchester United is, institution that Manchester United is, it probably needs a little bit of a cuddle at the moment. And what better to go back to former players to give you that?
In clubs with powerful sporting directors, though, Stan, is it possible for a manager to succeed? I often at Chelsea and at United with Jason, you just think, why don't you manage the team yourself, mate? Because they pick these blokes and then they don't give them the chance to do anything.
I think we will go back, Andy. I mean, football is cyclical. People, Gen Z that think Pep Guardiola reinvented the game, they just need to go back to wonderful books like, Jonathan Wilson's Inverting the Pyramid. Football goes in big cycles. We've seen it at the moment with corners and set pieces, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that what we will see is a manager come in to one of the big clubs, Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal, et cetera, and be given the opportunity to be able to manage the vast majority of what we would say football department jobs. And that increasingly will be recruitment. Now, you look at Aston Villa, I use it as an example because it's a very good example to use. Unai Emery came in and had Monchi from Seville that was recruitment and expanded this huge department of football. But Unai Emery had the first and the last say. And when Monchi didn't work and transfers weren't working out, Monchi went. And that was the sort of benign dictator of, I'm happy to have people in different roles, head of recruitment, head of football operations, head of this, head of that. but ultimately it needs one person to make the majority of the big decisions. And I think that Chelsea will get there. I mean, Todd Bowley's on a big learning curve. He obviously sees a lot of what happens in American sports, where there are 30 people to do one specific job, slightly different in football because of the cycles and how many other clubs across Europe you've got to compete with. But I think that for Manchester United, I'd agree with you, Andy. I think that they need somebody to walk in there. And this is why Glasner's so interested. 51 years of age, doesn't take any prisoners. He's more than happy to say, I'm not happy with this. I heard the comments he said after the getting knocked out of the FA Cup to Natalie Sawyer. And he was like, not having this. This isn't good enough. And I think that Manchester United need a little bit of that. So at 51 years of age, having won the Europa League with Frankfurt, the FA Cup with Crystal Palace, a guy at an age that understands the game, he's been a player, I think that maybe United could do a lot worse than go for that kind of character. But eventually they will happen upon, whether it be by choice or design, somebody that walks into the halls of Old Trafford and says, whether it be to Jason Wilcox or whether it be to the youth coaches, I'm the boss, I want him out, and everything falls on me. And I think that if we get back to that, and we can get back to that, you'll see a lot more stability and progress, particularly at the bigger clubs that many of them have been floundering over recent years.
I can hear a number of Manchester United fans already, although I can't literally, saying, oh, Palace to Manchester United, it's too big a jump. You can be the Palace manager, but it's a completely different. And maybe the Thomas Frank narrative feeds into that. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, where do you stand on that, Stan?
I think that Glasner's an interesting one because of his character and his personality. Everybody has to come from somewhere. And the notion that because you're an ex-player, I like former players going back to clubs because I think there are so many benefits. They understand the club, they understand how it works, they've got an affinity with the fans. And some clubs it works, some clubs it doesn't. Manchester United is arguably, they would say, the biggest club in the world. So you need somebody that fans go, he's a leader, I'm going to follow him. That players say, I'm going to follow him. And I think that somebody like Glasner, what he has over a David Moyes, because you're referring to a sort of, David Moyes walking into Old Trafford and the players the slur was they called him Everton. They didn't call him by his name or Gavin. And it was a slur because Everton hadn't won anything and there were all these players that had won everything there was to win. Is that I think that Glasner comes in having won trophies in two different countries. I think that he comes in where most people would have seen the Crystal Palace team at their very best and gone, yeah, good attacking team that is. He's put them out and, whether it be Mateta or Sarr or, any number of players that he's played, they like him, they respond to him. And that's important when you're a player watching a potential future manager. And I think he's of the age now. And I think that he doesn't sort of, when he's interviewed, he doesn't carry that, I really need to be here. He's probably made a few quid. He could probably go and have a sabbatical if he wanted to. He probably could go to Germany, Italy, Spain and get a good-sized club. But I do think he comes across as a guy that if you gave him a big opportunity, he would fly. Now, of course, the likes of Thomas Frank and there are many other, managers that have worked lower down the Premier League that have gone to bigger clubs and it hasn't quite worked out for them. And the personality and the character of a manager is really important. But I wouldn't dismiss him because I think he's got something about him that players obviously respond to, fans obviously respond to. And as I said, whether it be Crystal Palace to Manchester United, whether it be Sporting Club de Lisboa, going to Manchester, Sporting Club de Portugal, go to Manchester United, somebody's got to start somewhere. And I think that at the moment, Manchester United just keep lurching from, let's go from the class of 92 or the class of 2007, 2008, because it makes us feel good. No, let's go for a new, young, sexy manager like Amorim. Hasn't worked. Let's go for the tried and trusted Van Gaal and Mourinho. That hasn't worked either. So maybe somebody that falls in between may well work for them. Yeah. But I think the important thing for Manchester United is because of the size of the football club, if you think of Jurgen Klopp when he walked in, very big name as a head coach, had done well at a big club in Borussia Dortmund. But the key thing that Liverpool supporters, that Liverpool players, that everybody associated with Liverpool Football Club followed was the personality of the man that said, if you follow me, I will take you to success. And that's what Manchester United have got to get.
Stan Collins with us. Going to stick around for the Falls panel. We'll look at the Manchester derby. We'll have Tottenham, West Ham. We'll have Brighton, Bournemouth. One of the listeners joining us, I think a Palace fan will join us so we can get their take on Glasner and Gay News. We're here with our very good friends at Toolstation. Get winter ready with heating and insulation essentials. Next stop, Toolstation.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football. Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
And then for the Falls panel, that point of the show, we try and predict the scores of three big games, two of which you'll hear exclusively live on talkSPORT for the next couple of days. We'll get 3 points for getting it absolutely right, 1 point for getting the outcome right, nothing for getting it wrong. These are the standings in that league table based on those scores. Andy, nil point for you last week. You're on 27. Oh, Martin, the Spurs fan, nothing for him either. He stays on 31. Jim Proudfoot was our commentator. 1 for him on 35. I didn't get anything. It was a pretty low scoring week. I'm on 38. But Stan scored 3 points, so he's consolidating
Very
his position
solid.
at the top. He's doing the Arsenal at the moment. It's all set pieces.
I need a new manager.
All set pieces with Stan. He's on 44, leading the way. 6 clear at the moment. Ollie Klink is our commentator today. Hi, Ollie.
Hi, guys. How you doing? Looks like you've risen up the table, actually, Paul.
Yeah,
Last time I was on, you were third, and I mean that's probably as a result of my prediction.
You're going to be at the Lane tomorrow, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Feels like a big old London derby, that doesn't it? Tottenham against
Yeah,
West
it
Ham.
does
But
feel...
both need a lift, really.
Well, I think somebody was saying it's both our cup finals for a change. Anyway, we'll come on to that. Let's say hello to a Palace fan. Try and pick him up if we can. Hello, Carl.
You all right? Good afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's neither of these are a massive sort of bombshell, but it's still disappointing when it's out there in the ether and you know it's happening.
Well, we're here for a quiz, but what I will just quickly say is the fact that I think it's been a hidden secret for a while. Apparently, it was discussed in October, so that explains a lot. And I think, to be honest, the fact that I now know it's been the case since October, probably the summer, probably did have a big bearing on it. He's probably thought, I can't be bothered with this. And I think it's a sad case of our season is just about imploding even more, sadly. But one thing I will say is Ian Holloway top to all, spoke best out of everyone I've listened to. We just struggle to compete at the end of the day. Last season's probably going to be as good as it's been for us for a very long time. But do you know what? Most Palace fans will remember that day for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, he gave you a great day. It's really what happens in the next few games, because if you lose a couple of games or go out of Europe, then people will say he's thrown the towel in. That doesn't seem to be the mark of the man, and he said that isn't the case. Anyway, we'll see. Carl, we'll come on to your predictions in a minute. Stan stuck around. He will lead us off for the Manchester derby, live on talkSPORT tomorrow lunchtime, 12:30 kickoff. Stan, how do you see this one?
Yeah, I mean, always those lunchtime kickoffs are a killer for players, really. So it depends how many turn up on the day. You've got to say Manchester City are favourites. I saw the Opta stats, and they're 50%, just over 50% favourites to win. Erling Haaland, I think, has scored 8, and in his second most he scored against any team in the Premier League. Semenyo in the group hit the ground running, scoring goals. Manchester United 1, Manchester City 2.
You know what? I've written that down as well. I've scrubbed out 3. I think it may be a bit closer than that because, City have been a bit profligate and they have been giving the odd goal away. So I agree with you. I think City only just, and wouldn't be at all surprised if Semenyo scored again. So 2-1 for me. Ollie?
Well, I watched City do a job on my Newcastle in the week, but they did give up a few chances. So I think I agree that Man United will get on the score sheet, but I think City will come away with it. So I'll go 3-1 to City.
You're going that 3-1, yeah. What do you reckon, Carl, the Palace fan?
Well, I was agreeing with 2-1, but I'm going to go 3-2, just to be different.
Okay, 3-2 to City. 3-2 to City, I'll take it here.
Yes.
Yeah, and Andy.
And I'm now going to demonstrate why I'm bottom of the table, because I'm going for a 2-2.
Well, I wouldn't be at all surprised if it is a draw. Seriously. So don't beat yourself up for that. talkSPORT listeners home in the car, live on talkSPORT tomorrow. As we said, Ollie and Adrian Durham and Stephen Corker, former Spurs player, will be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tomorrow afternoon, keeping you updated on Tottenham v West Ham. Stan?
I'm going to give you a juicy stat. West Ham United have lost all 6 of their Premier League London derbies this season. Only 2 sides in English top-flight history have ever lost 7. Fulham from 2018 to 2020 and QPR from 1995 to 1996. So West Ham will be looking to get something from their cup final. I don't think they will. I saw enough of Spurs, particularly in the first half in that cup game against Villa. Apologies, Paul. We're in the hat up the Villa. Tottenham Hotspur 2, West Ham United 1.
Oh, blimey. I've already written that down as well. I'm going to just stay on your coattails. I promise that's what I thought. I would like to see him play 4-3-3 tomorrow. I'd like to see him play Gallagher, Paulinho and Simons, and I'd like to see him finish with a 3 that gave us a decent 20 minutes against Stan's Villa with Odebear and Tell with Colomwani through the middle. We haven't got a lot of options at the moment. I don't think Solanke's ready to start. He probably won't. He may not even start Conor Gallagher. I hope he does. But I'd like to see a bit of boldness. Tottenham just got... If Tottenham lose this, at home to West Ham. I think that really could be curtains for the manager. So it's a lot riding on it. Ollie?
Yeah, they've only won 4 of the last 24 at home, as you'll know, I'm sure.
Tell me about it.
So actually, when they win, they tend to win to 0 as well. I think it's 6 out of the last 7 that they've won. They've won with a clean sheet. So I'm going to go with that. I'll go with 2-0 Tottenham.
2-0 Spurs, OK. What do you reckon, Carl?
Well, if Spurs get the Conor Gallagher that was a Palace, I'm going to go 2-0 Spurs as well.
Yeah, you liked him there. He did well for you, didn't he?
I'll tell you what we could do with him now, to be honest.
He's a good player.
Yeah. Andy, what do you reckon?
I think it's going to be 1-0 to Tottenham. I don't see a lot of goals. I don't see it being a great game because there's so much at stake.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think 1-0 sounds a possibility. I don't fancy West Ham at all, though.
So there we are. The updates from Ollie and the gang and Adrian tomorrow from 3. Brighton-Bournemouth Monday night. We got that exclusively live for you on talkSPORT. Adrian will be there with Sam Matterface and Danny Murphy. Stan?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Bournemouth deal with life after Semenyo, because he's so important. A goal every other game for Bournemouth this season. Brighton have got a very, very good record against the Cherries, and their home record stands up to scrutiny, despite it not being a vintage Brighton season so far. They've just lost 2 of their last 18 Premier League home games, winning 10, drawing 6, and both defeats came against Aston Villa, and that's no disgrace. I'm going to go Brighton 2, Bournemouth 0.
Brighton 2, Bournemouth 0. I'm giving Bournemouth a goal, but I do agree. I think maybe it's that man Danny Welbeck again, just making the difference. I'm going to go 2-1 Brighton. Ollie?
Yeah, I think Brighton are in pretty decent form, but I have just put Tavernier in my fantasy team.
Right.
So for that reason, I'm going to go 2-2 with a Tavernier brace.
You shouldn't let fantasy football shake. I mean, I've sat there with my youngest lad, and Spurs have conceded. And I'm in bets, and he says, and he'll say, but he is in my fantasy team.
Oh, no.
That's the trouble with fantasy leagues.
That's no good.
They get in your head. Carl, what do you reckon?
I'm going to go 1-0 Brighton.
Okay, yeah. I'm surprised you can bring yourself to.
Yeah.
Today I've ordered.
They're probably celebrating the fact that our club's imploded this week. So there you go.
So what a day for you.
Will be.
Gay going, Glasner going, and you've predicted a win for Brighton. Oh dear.
Yeah,
Andy, what do you reckon?
Again, I need the points, so I'm going to go 1-1.
Yeah, again, a draw wouldn't be out of the question. You could be the star performer of the week. You could say 9 points, Andy, would parachute you up the league into mid-table. Brilliant. Well, keep your chin up, Carl.
Parachuted upwards.
Yeah, no, you can't. That's rubbish. That's rubbish.
Scaffolding.
Yeah. Maybe it's paragliding. Paraglide up the table. Cheers, Carl. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
Thank you, Stan. We'll catch up with you next week.
Have a good one up the Villa.
Cheers, Stan.
And thank you, Ollie. We'll hear from. I may even see you tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the bowels of the stadium. All the best. Enjoy the game.
Thanks very much.
So don't forget the first episode of the talkSPORT Daily Podcast, brand new series, Fiery Fridays, is available now. I was watching a little expert online. Adrian Durham, Alex Crook, Angelina Kelly, every Friday. They're blazing hot takes. 3 huge opinions every Friday. No sitting on the fence. We wouldn't expect that, especially from Adrian. Today's episode, they delve into Arsenal's quadruple hopes. Whether Manchester United need to move on from Sir Alex Ferguson, and if Michael Carrick could have won England the World Cup. If you want to hear more, then the talkSPORT Daily is available on all podcast platforms now. Coming up in the final hour, Todd Macklin joins us. We'll hear from some of the gaffers, including Glasner and Michael Carrick, and Flex, host of the United View, joining us to give us his take on what Michael Carrick has had to say today. We'll bring you a little bit more of his first press conference in charge, plus, of course, a really bumper crop of clips of the week, and there's a few corkers, maybe 1 or 2, certainly 1, set to become a classic. So stick around for the clips of the week at 3:30. Flex, the host of the United View, joins us. We'll hear a little bit more of Michael Carrick's first interview very shortly after Will Hobbs with the sports headlines.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, helping business owners to work better and live better. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Thanks, Paul. Only one place to start, of course. Another nightmare day it's turning out to be for Crystal Palace fans. Ollie Glasner's confirmed he's off in the summer.
I had a meeting with Steve in October, international break, with dinner. Very long talk, and I told him that I will not sign a new contract for Crystal Palace. We agreed at that time that it's the best to keep it between us.
And that's only half of it. Captain Mark Gahey's off to Man City for what we understand is a £30 million deal in total.
It's in the final stages. I can't confirm the club because it's still not done, but in the final stages, and the result is that Mark doesn't play tomorrow for us.
That game tomorrow is against Sunderland. Our transfer expert Ben Jacobs says that City are having to pay over the odds given Gahey's contract is up in the summer.
Liverpool, Arsenal, Bayern are not prepared to do that. Their stance is very clear. If Mark Gahey wants to join, he has to wait, and then they get him more economically on a free transfer. But Man City want Mark Gahey now.
Gahey's wages, we understand, are more than doubling to $300,000 a week in a deal that will expire in 2031. But where will Glasner go next? Old Trafford? Here's Alex Crook.
He is on Manchester United's shortlist of potential candidates. They are looking for Premier League experience, but I sort of agree with what Andy was saying there. Will he operate with Jason Wilcox and Omar Barada calling the shots? I'm not entirely convinced by that.
Elsewhere, Aston Villa are confident of landing Tammy Abraham on a 4.5-year deal from Roma. It's after Donyell Marlon went the other way for a deal worth over £26 million. And Arne Slot says he hopes to have Mo Salah back for Wednesday's Champions League clash with Marseille, which will be live on talkSPORT.
talkSPORT News.
A teenager's been detained for 14 months for planning to attack an Oasis concert, and Kemi Badenoch says she's 100% confident no other members of her top team will defect to Reform. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Rain or shine, our mobile tyre fitting service comes to you, so you can stay on the sofa this winter. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Sunshine and showers this afternoon, those heaviest in the west and southwest, where hail and thunder's also possible. Overall breezy with average temperatures.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. It's another big weekend in the NFL, Andy, isn't it? The wildcard weekend last weekend, they said, was one of the best ever.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Really good.
It's the divisional playoffs. There's 8 teams left. There's some interesting matchups. It's been a good season, hasn't it? I mean,
I think it has, yeah.
So Todd will join us to preview that. We've got a situation where a top player in the NBA decided to boo the fans.
Was he sort of being funny or no?
Well, you'll hear from him and he'll explain why he booed. That and other stories from the world of American sport. We'll have some clips of the week, and we'll hear more from Oliver Glasner in light of that announcement today that he is going to be leaving Palace at the end of the season. Michael Carrick gave a big press conference today, his first as the Manchester United coach. We'll hear more of that later on in the show. We'll get the thoughts of Flex, host of the United View, very shortly. But first, let's hear from Michael Carrick again. He was asked whether the amount of top pundits in the media or ex-Manchester United add extra pressure to the role.
They're not putting more pressure on me. I don't feel that. I think it's just part of it. The role, I understand it. I understand there's plenty of opinions around, and some are positive, some are not so much. But I think in some ways, for me, in terms of you saying about putting pressure, for me, it's totally irrelevant in terms of me and how I go to work and what I focus on. I kind of know already what we want to improve on and how we want to work with the players, and I've already said about improving things, and there's a lot of opinions, a lot can be said. It is the way of the world, I'm not going to pay too much attention to the most of that. I think it's it's not for me to do that. I think for me and the players and the staff, it's a focus on how we're going to succeed, really, and that's our job, that's our responsibility, that's what our focus and our mind should be at, is doing what we can for this club.
There we are, more from Michael Carrick a little bit later on. He also talked about what he would consider a success from his time in charge. Let's get the thoughts of Fleck.
I'm going to be top 5.
Well, I mean, yeah, he said European football will be a step forward, so that kind of tells you all you need to know. Flex from the United View joins us. Hi, Flex.
How you doing, guys?
Yeah, not so bad. Were you impressed by what you heard from Michael Carrick today?
I wouldn't say impressed, but I would say it's what I expect Michael Carrick to say. It's how I expect him to go about his work. I'll be extremely concerned if he started sitting on there saying, "Oh yeah, it's a lot of pressure here," and I think Roy Keane is right, and the ex-player say, he's never going to say any of that. He's got to get to work. I expect Michael Carrick, who's a man of 5 Premier League titles at Manchester United, a Champions League, FA Cup, etc., Club World Cup, not Club World Cup, the other one. He's been there and done it. He knows what it is to succeed at Man United. So the noise around the club and how loud it is and what type of pressure is there or not there, he will be well aware and well versed about what it is.
Have you got your thoughts on what you would like the team to be against City tomorrow? Have you mapped it out, and what sort of team do you think he will pick?
Really interesting. This is hard because we're in the land of the unknown. I don't know how adventurous Michael Carrick's going to be at the first time off, with it being City and wanted to get off into a good start. First 2 games of City and Arsenal, versus how safe he will want to be to make us compact, don't do anything silly, don't get beat badly. I can't call it. On one side, I've got this team where Michael Carrick goes for it and says, I know what it's like to be here. I know what's been missing here. The fans need a big lift. This is Manchester City at home, 75,000 people at Old Trafford. They've been bored to death with terrible football, terrible results, and I need to get a rocket up these players to get after them. But then I could also see him go, I've just got here. I have got 16 games. Now, these 2 games are very, very tough. People aren't going to be on to me that much at the start. It's a difficult position. Let me try and keep some things the same whilst trying to also change what I can. So, yeah, I think I'm going more to the side of go after City a little bit. So I think Ahmad will come back into the side. I don't think he puts Ahmad and Mbeumo, though. I think he'll keep Cunha from the left, even though he hasn't been playing well. But I think that'll be a decision that he didn't want to take too heavily at the start. Play Cunha from the left, Bruno on the 10. I think he'll go Ugarte and Casemiro. I would like him to go Kobe, and I know he really likes Kobe, but again, how adventurous would he go at home against Manchester City, against a midfield 3 of, say, Reinders, Rodri, and maybe Shirky or Foden or Bernardo Silva, whoever it may be. I think the back 4 will be Dalot at right back. I think it'll be Luke Shaw at left back, and I'm going to bring Harry Maguire in for the experience. And I think he'll go with Lisandro Martinez and Šeško up front.
It's going to be interesting. I do take your point, though. It is a bit, a rock and a hard place, isn't it? You don't want to go out and get cuffed 4-1 at home by City as your first game because, it lays down a marker. But by the same token, you just don't want to go out there and sort of maybe get beat by the odd goal and sort of, wonder whether you could have done more. It's a really tough start for him, isn't it?
It is a tough start. I mean, look, thinking a game ahead of this, yes, it's the Emirates at Arsenal. We do terribly there. But this is also an opportunity, depending on whether your glass is half full or half empty, this is an opportunity to really get everyone singing pulling in the same direction.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to get the players going. You got Manchester City at home. There's no other way to galvanise people than a win against Manchester City at home. They stuffed us 3-0 at their place earlier on in the season in a pathetic performance. And we owe them one, And when you've got actually some of our ex-players and some of the legends in terms of Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt absolutely chastising and going after Lisandro Martinez, which is not helpful for a game, not coming with any facts and suggesting that he has a terrible time against Erling Haaland every single game. What a fantastic win it would be if he can have a good game and do really well in this position. Because I have to say, I thought what those two have said on their podcast, I think it's just going after him. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. It was really, really nonsensical what those two did.
Just a problem for United is midfield. That combination is just not good enough.
It's not.
Would you like to see someone come in January? Then that would help him. A couple of players coming in January would certainly help, wouldn't it?
Guys, listen, this would help massively, and this is where Ineos, they haven't got a clue what they're doing. They haven't got an absolute clue what they're doing. Loads of false promises. I was looking to spend best part of £65 million on Antoine Semenyo. Of course, he chose to go to City. Be playing against us tomorrow. Be very fearful of that. He started like house on fire. But they've also been briefings that Michael Carrick's going to have a full complement of players now, apart from one who's injured and one who's at AFCON. There's only one game a week now. They're out of all the other competitions, so you don't need anyone. And you're looking at City, they're going for a title. They've brought in Mark Gahey. They've brought in Antoine Semenyo, while Jason Wilcox and Ineos sit there and try and get Michael Carrick and pin all the pressure on him to get us European football. It's a farce, mate. It really, really is. And Ineos, they're telling us they need to save all this money. They're telling us they want to take us in the right direction, but the actions aren't matching the words. As simple as that.
And just one final
a big advantage only playing once a week, though.
Yeah,
all the teams that you're vying for the top 4 or 5.
Yeah, I mean,
are playing twice a week.
I'd like to think it is.
Yeah,
I'd like to think it is, but with
really
these players, they don't show it. I mean, even under Ruben Amorim, it was more time on the training field. I needed pre-season. We had it all, and look at us.
Yeah.
No improvement. So I'm not sure.
Quick one on Glasner before we let you go. He's going to be on the market. He's admitted at the end of the season, and Stan Collymore saying earlier on he sees him potentially as a good fit. United have tried the overseas coach. They've tried the big coaches, the Van Gaals. They've tried everything really since Sir Alex left. How would you feel about Glasner?
Yeah, it's Stan's not wrong in terms of trying this, trying that. We have tried everything. We've tried people that are like Glasner. That was Eric Ten Hag coming out of Ajax. That was Ruben Amorim coming out of
Sporting. Yeah.
So the young up and coming guys who need to take the step up. We've tried that as well. I like Glasner. I think he's a good coach. Something feels a little bit off with it. I have seen him on record saying that his preferred formation isn't actually that 3-4-3 plays at Palace. He just plays that because that's the plays he's got, which actually shows somebody he's adaptable, which is a good start. But I don't know. I just worry. I think United need someone big this time. So, to me, like a Thomas Tuchel. I'd love Thomas Tuchel. Yeah. Luis Enrique. I don't think Ineos are competent enough or would be able to entice those type of personalities. I think it will be along the lines of a Glasner/Iraola, guys who are happy to take a massive step up. But working under that regime of how Ineos work with the head coach, you saw what happened, how they fell out with Ruben Amorim. I'm not sure the big boys want that. So if it is Glasner, we'll have to get behind it and see how it works. But he's not my first choice.
Enjoy the game tomorrow, Flex. All the best.
I'll try.
That's Flex, host of the United View on Michael Carrick. So we'll hear some more of that press conference later on. We're going to hear from Todd Macklin very, very shortly. But before that, this Friday, Alexis Rucker takes on Raul Curiel. Their first clash ended in a draw. Now 2 elite welterweights run it back in a high-stakes rematch for bigger fights in 2026. You can watch it this Friday only on DAZN. And don't miss DAZN's packed schedule with fights every week, including the blockbuster Ring 6 as Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson on January the 31st at Madison Square Garden, kicking off February with Nick Ball versus Brandon Figueroa on February the 7th.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We've been taking you through what should be another busy day of football. Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
For Super Bowl 60 on talkSPORT.
Yes, with the Super Bowl fast approaching, more on that shortly. talkSPORT is giving you and a mate the chance to be there live in action. There's under 1 week left to enter. You could win tickets to the Super Bowl Sunday the 8th of February, plus return flights to San Francisco, 3 nights accommodation and spending money. In a few weeks, you could be ticking off the Super Bowl and exploring San Francisco. It sounds pretty good, doesn't it? So here's how to enter.
For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate. Or call 0343 418 7260. Lines close Thursday 2026. Thursday 2026. How about the date?
Yes.
Thanks. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. So for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 right now.
It's the 22nd, of course. Thursday the 22nd is when it closes.
Brilliant competition.
So there, time to continue talking American sport now with Todd Macklin. Good afternoon, Todd. So, who is our competition winner going to see? We're down to 8 teams. There's some very intriguing matchups. It was a pretty impressive weekend, wildcard weekend. So, where's your money going this week? Bills at Broncos, 49ers at Seahawks, Texans at Patriots, and Rams at Bears.
I don't know where my money.
Well,
all I know is the games are going to be good. Like that. So Denver and Seattle had the byes in round one. And so Denver, after not playing for a week, is going to have to host Buffalo, right? You would argue that the Bills are the most experienced of the teams remaining. So Denver's going to have to find a way at home to beat the Bills. And then the Seattle game on Saturday, division rival against the 49ers. The 49ers went into Philly and beat the defending Super Bowl champs. And then, that's just going to be a fantastic matchup. And then Sunday is interesting because you've got two teams, like Houston's a dome team, and they won in Pittsburgh on Monday night. They're going to have to win in New England on Sunday night. And then you've got a warm weather team, the Rams, right, playing in Los Angeles, are going to have to go into Chicago and win on the road. And I hear the weather is going to be really cold in both Chicago and the Boston area for the Patriots game on Sunday night.
Yeah, it's going to be
a factor.
Who's your winner then? If you were taking a punt now, who do you see going all the way and winning it based on what you've seen so far, Todd?
Well, before the playoffs, I had Jacksonville and Seattle. Yeah. So I missed out on Jacksonville. So I'll stick with Seattle, and I'll say New England and Seattle. A rematch. Remember that Super Bowl, right, where the Seahawks didn't hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch. They threw an interception, remember, at the goal line. So a rematch of that Super Bowl, and maybe Seattle can get their revenge.
Yeah, it was a good game, the Jacksonville game. And shame for people who support them. They didn't get to.
Yeah, with their big sort of London interest, there would have been a lot of people over here looking out for them. Now, worrying story. We spoke in October about this spot fixing scandal in the NBA. A number of people were implicated and indicted by the FBI, and that's ongoing. Then yesterday, 20 college basketball players have been indicted by the FBI for point shaving, a similar sort of thing, manipulating the result of a game for spread betting purposes. 20 players, some of which I think have gone on to play NBA, some of them still active, across 17 teams, which is rather worrying. So it's not that isolated. So this is more bad news, isn't it, for basketball?
It is. And we talked, guys, last time talking about that NBA scandal, that there was another scandal that we were waiting for it to break, the news to break on it. And here it is. And it's not surprising that the recent scandals in sports are specific to basketball and baseball. That's because in basketball, there's over 100 shots a game. And in baseball, there's over 100 pitches a game. So it's so easy to manipulate those sports, right? And kind of go unnoticed because there are so many things happening, right? Meaning shots and pitches. And I just don't think it's a surprise of that. And this one's specific to college. We've talked a lot on the show about, hey, college athletes are now being paid. Yeah, a lot of the top end ones are. But I think these guys that they targeted in this scandal, instead of making hundreds of thousands of dollars, they've been making tens of thousands. So the chance to make more was too enticing for these young people, and that's how they got caught up into it.
I mean, the explosion of sports betting in American sport. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. You had to kind of go to Reno or Vegas to have a sort of sports book. You couldn't. But now it's just gone nuts. Online betting in the States is probably as big as anywhere in the world. It's crazy, and maybe this is a product of that.
There's no doubt it is, Paul. It has to be. Like, you can't go from 0 to 100 the way that sports betting is. You guys mentioned it before. You had to go to Nevada to gamble, right? Like, that's the only places you could do it. And then some select states in the United States. Now you can do it pretty much everywhere, right? And you can't go from betting being the devil to betting being okay. And you've got all these leagues embracing it, right? And they're just, hey, well, we sent out emails and we warned these people, just to be careful about it. No, you can't go from it being, you can't touch it, to, oh yeah, betting's good, betting's great, we're making millions from it, and not expect other people to try and make some money from it too.
Absolutely. Let's have a positive story from basketball. Listen, remember the name Adrian Stubbs. At the moment, he's at Maryvale High School, I think in Arizona. He scored 100 points, and he only played 3 quarters of the game. He sat out the fourth quarter because his coach said, we're not here to run up the score, and kind of it's not about you. He could have potentially have broken the world record. It was set in 1960, 135 points by a guy called Danny Heater.
Great name for a hot player.
He certainly is. Yes. He was at Morgan High. But what about that? 100 points, and he didn't even play in the whole game. He had 70 at half time. It's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah, a couple things. What's incredible is his season average before the game was 24 points. Right. So he goes from 24 to 100, and as you mentioned, in 3 quarters. Crazy. And the state record was 57 points.
Wow.
So you talk about shattering the record, right? 57, and then he gets 103 quarters. Incredible. I just hope it doesn't put too much pressure on this kid where, you know what I mean? Like, the focus is, well, if he doesn't become a great, college player, pro player, that his life is a bust or whatever, enjoy the moment. It's an incredible accomplishment. Hopefully he enjoys it. The pressure's not too intense. And we'll see. Maybe he is a guy that can make something happen as a college basketball player.
Now, we're used to players booing. We used to fans booing players, and they did. The Bucks played the Timberwolves, and they were 31 points down at half time.
That's quite a lot at half time.
Yeah, So the Bucks fans booed the team, including Giannis Antetokounmpo, their star player. So in the second half, he scored a basket, turned around to the Bucks fans and booed them, gave them the thumbs down, and properly audibly booed. He was asked about it afterwards by a reporter.
Were you kind of gesturing or booing back, like sarcastically, after
No, I was
that
definitely booing back. When I get booed, I boo back. I've been doing all season. You guys haven't been with me on the road. Whenever I get booed, I boo back.
So they'll be asked this for the Tottenham players tomorrow if West Ham win. Just boo back. Do a Giannis, boo back. I mean, it's quite weird that, isn't it? A man boos fans.
Yeah, it's a pretty weird situation in Milwaukee, right? They won a title a few years ago with Giannis, and the Bucks have just been about trying to maximize this window of winning another title with Giannis. But there are real questions of, does he want to stay long term? Is it better for the Bucks to move on from him and kind of rebuild the team? So it's as you mentioned, it's a pretty weird situation in Milwaukee right now. The booing's going to continue, I think, for both the fans and for Giannis the rest of the year.
Now we know who's going to be doing the halftime show at the Super Bowl, Bad Bunny. We found out this week who's singing the anthem. That's quite a big gig as well. It's Charlie Puth. P-U-T-H, Puth. 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 That's what they sing to him.
Yeah.
Big responsibility, Todd.
Yeah, and to bring up betting again, as we've talked about a lot, guys, one of the big prop bets for the Super Bowl is the length of the anthem. Right. So my guess is he's going to get, and I think they do a media conference before the Super Bowl, the singers, both Bad Bunny and Charlie, and I think most of the questions will be about what will be the over-under time for Charlie to finish the national anthem. And listen, I think it's incredible pressure.
Yeah.
If you screw up the anthem, I mean, that's probably as bad as it gets for a singer.
Yeah. I think he sounds like a safe parent. He's got a kind of balladeers type voice.
Yeah.
We don't want any bar shaving. I'm sure he wouldn't get involved in that, not point shaving. Cheers, Todd. Thanks very much. We'll catch up with you next week.
See you, boys.
See You Again, well, Wiz Khalifa was the big hit that people might know that he sang on. No, that's the one you love, Andy.
Oh, yes.
So anyway, clips of the week coming up next. We'll hear more from Michael Carrick and indeed from Oliver Glasner. That was the big story in the last couple of hours that he's said he will be leaving Palace at the end of the season, a decision he made in October and told Steve Parish about, but they have kept it quiet until now. So, clips of the week. There's some real good ones in there, so stick around for those that are coming up shortly.
We're going to start at Anfield. And what does Arne Slot make of Andy Robertson questioning his own Liverpool future over a lack of game time?
I think every player should have the same feeling about his current position, and that is that he's not starting every game.
Liverpool host Burnley tomorrow. Meanwhile, Man United, under new caretaker Michael Carrick, host Man City live on talkSPORT tomorrow lunchtime. And John O'Shea says, make no mistake, after doing well at Middlesbrough, Carrick wants to be a Premier League manager.
I know it's a different club and a different kettle of fish altogether, but he's one that I know he's cool and calm and has that stubbornness to be decisive, and he'll rise to the challenge, no problem.
Now, Tony Cottee has told talkSPORT West Ham's one-to-way midfielder owes the club a relegation scrap.
The club stood by him when he had all this stuff going on with the the accusations and the FA after him. The West Ham stood by him. They kept him on full pay. He was still playing, and he owes the club. He owes the fans.
Lucas Paquetá wants a return to Flamengo in Brazil. We're told they're preparing a second bid. talkSPORT also understands Villa are increasingly confident of signing Tammy Abraham from Roma. It's after Donyell Malen went the other way. And Ruud van Nistelrooy's joining the Netherlands coaching staff. He'll be Ronald Koeman's assistant.
Of the week on talkSPORT with Toolstation. Proudly behind the trades that work so hard for the nation. Next stop, Toolstation.
talkSPORT clips of the week.
Yes, time once again for the clips of the week with Toolstation, and we have a bumper 18.
Oh, very good.
Today, and a few really good ones in there. You never can tell. Last week we were down to 11.
Yeah.
Who knows? Anyway, we kick off this week with co-commentator Tash Dowie at Wrexham v Forest, and we didn't realise just how much refs are getting involved in games at the moment.
Yeah, it did, and also I think his touch let him down. But here again, I think that was quite a soft foul by the referee. I think Hutchinson has made the most of it.
Shouldn't be making tackles. Did he book himself, though?
I think he did, actually.
Oh, OK, that's all right then.
Of course, the big FA Cup upset was at Macclesfield. Here's co-commentator Andy Townsend on that Palace defeat.
It wasn't that long ago they were running around Wembley with the trophy and celebrating with their fans and having the most incredible day. Well, this time now, the ball is on the other foot. They're going to have to take this one on the chin.
I'm getting all the metaphors in there.
Yeah,
the ball being on the other foot.
Yeah.
Jeff Stelling also reflected on the game and gave us some shock news about the Palace manager.
We'll turn our attention to Crystal Palace after that loss to Macclesfield. This is the other side of the coin. Yeah. Needless to say, Olivia Glasner was fuming.
She's a lovely girl, isn't she, Olivia?
Yeah. She's leaving as well, actually.
Is she going to go at the same
They're both
time?
going, yeah.
Fantastic, good.
But of course, the story was Macclesfield. And we were equally as shocked to discover this about the club's owner, Rob Smethurst, from Natalie Sawyer.
Rob, I know Andy said finally, there's just a couple more questions for me, if you don't mind. Just quickly, the journey you've already been on. What, 5 years old you are, really?
Well,
he looks older, doesn't he?
He does. He's quite mature for a 5-year-old.
Yes, I mean, to have bought a football club, I don't know where the money been nicked out of his mum's purse. I don't know where the money came from. It's impressive. Staying with the FA Cup, this was the Everton manager David Moyes after that penalty defeat by Sunderland.
Today we've done a great job with what we had available to get us back into the game and take it to penalties. But it felt like a damp squid.
Yeah, it was a damp... Well, I mean, by definition...
Aren't all squids damp?
Well, otherwise I imagine they die, don't they, really? You've got to keep a level of dampness if you're a squid. I'm not a squid, I wouldn't know.
No, definitely.
Meanwhile, Andy...
Steve Harmison was reporting from Newcastle versus Bournemouth.
But Newcastle throwing everything at Bournemouth. Bournemouth are being realistic. Oh, I've given up on that one.
Resistance is useless.
Nice one. Here's Shabana Hearn on Early Breakfast getting a call from an overseas coach.
Good morning to Gary, football coach out in San Diego, US of A. Good morning, Gary.
Hush, man, how are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm loving the accent already. I just love that American twang. Where are you from?
Colchester in Essex originally.
Well, there we are.
Not Colchester, New Jersey.
Fantastic. To be fair to Shaban, he did have a bit of a transatlantic accent at the top, but Colchester was a bit of a curveball, wasn't it?
So,
yes.
Paul Ross and Kane Reeves on the overnight show Extra Time, dropping a bombshell about one of our regular guests.
And on that cheery note, coming up to save the show, Mark Donaldson, top ESPN commentator.
Yeah, he died today.
Oh, for goodness sake. Known him for about 25 years. I call him a friend.
No, he's fine.
It's good, okay. I mean, Kane's always a bit on the nose, wasn't it? He's fine. Mark's fine, in case you... I don't know what was going on there.
Who knows?
Transfer-wise, West Ham's Lucas Paquetá's future was a big story, although Alex Crook and Ray Parlour were struggling to tell us where he might be moving to.
Particularly with Pablo and Castellanos, who got his goal, putting themselves around up front. But you're right, Flamengo in Brazil showing interest in Paquetá.
He doesn't want to be there. He looks like he's agreed personal terms with Flamengo.
Yeah, I love them. They've got a nice pink kit.
They do wear the pink kit, and the players often stand on one leg, don't they? They quite like doing a bit of that, which is a bit of a sign of the club. Of course, it isn't Flamengo, so who should we turn to get it right, you think?
I'd say former Hammers striker Tony Cottee could nail the pronunciation.
Let's hope so, yeah.
Well, they're talking about him maybe going to the club in Brazil. I think it's Flamenco, and then being loaned back.
That's a dance tone.
I think it is.
Two birds and a dance.
Fabulous, isn't it?
Let's get the news headlines now with Emma Smith.
Reform UK leader Nigel Farage is worried about a suppression of free speech.
Blimey, it started already.
Yeah, got a point by the sound of it, isn't he?
That's incredible.
That sounded like, yes, of course. And what's next, Andy?
It was a lovely duet by Angelina Kelly and Perry Groves on Matchday Live.
Lovely duet, yeah.
With Angelina Kelly, who's at the Emirates.
Over 35,000 people are set to descend on the Emirates Stadium today as Arsenal host Manchester United, and with just 1 point separating these teams in third and fourth, it's all to play for. Renee Slagers, whose new deal with Arsenal until 2029 was...
Beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah, lovely.
Lovely duet by the two of them, yes. Yeah.
Right.
So is it me?
I think it is.
Yeah, let's hear from a Manchester United fan now.
I think Gary Neville said we've written off the season. Yeah, I agree with that. We need somebody who will take the horn by its head.
Of course.
Yeah, you've got to take the horns by its head, haven't you, really? That's the one thing Michael Carrick... I'm surprised you didn't say that in the press conference.
And we're calling this one Alex Crook, posher than you think.
Yeah, posher than you think.
That's exactly what happened with Ollie.
Yeah.
He came in as interim, did really well. Club legends like Rio Ferdinand and Gary Neville were clamouring for 10-year contracts and asking where he wanted his start tube.
His star tube. Doesn't count half as strong, isn't he? His star tube. Yeah, we were surprised to hear Danny Kelly announce this new talkSPORT presenter.
Yeah, Super Ali McLeod is back on talkSPORT Breakfast tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. with Jeff Stelling.
Blimey, tough booking.
It's a tough booking.
Yeah, amazing. Sadly, the great Ali McLeod, former Scotland manager, no longer with us. So, two different stories.
And this is Shabana Hearn on Breakfast, setting Ray Parlour a music quiz.
Name that tune?
Oh, I need I want to got the record, but half something.
Yeah, halfway. You're looking at my screen. I can see you, Parlour.
How can I look at your screen? I'm looking at Alan. I got eyes in the back of my head. He is a cheat. I hope the other songs are not halfway around the world.
Halfway around the world is the correct answer.
No, it isn't. Maybe it's part of a new Oasis, nearly Oasis, with Wonder Wolf. She's Eclectic and Champagne Supermarket. Just some of the songs on the alternative Oasis. You get the idea with that. So, yeah, just time for a quick one. And from Alan Brazil discussing a Liverpool star.
Now, the other side of the Atlantic, Mo Salah
Ofcom dream is over, I'm afraid.
Was he looking for a job then as a regulator?
He wanted to be a radio regulator.
Really? What about that?
Turned down. It's
That's
sad,
a strange career move after so long. I thought he might go to Saudi, but wanted to work for Ofcom. Okay. And finally, here we go. Strap yourselves in.
You'll like this. It's back to Paul Ross and Kane Reeves on overnights, bringing us our fantastic Super Bowl competition.
We're checking the return flights to San Francisco, 3 nights accommodation and spending money, all covered, all done and dusted. Listen up. Here's how to enter.
Yeah, it's where Tony Bennett left his hat, isn't it, Paul? San Francisco.
That's right.
My hat. Not really.
I mean, from Tony Bennett's point of view, this was one of the sort of big... It was his defining song in his career,
that's what he's known for, isn't it?
So it's what he's known for. There he is, the great man, of course, the late, great Tony Bennett.
What sort of a hat was it, Tony?
Well, the point is that, I mean, there was no jeopardy, was there? If you left your hat in San Francisco, just go out and buy another hat, wouldn't you?
A family heirloom sort of hat.
I mean, wait, so you sound like you're trying to do Trevor Brooking. Well, you say hat, it might have been a very important hat for the family. But you just go out and buy another hat. It's his heart. The whole point of the song is, left his heart in San Francisco. Left his... you never guess what? Left me hat in San Francisco. We'll just buy another. Maybe we dwelt on this for too long.
I like it.
We should thank Stuart Armour, Nick Ellaby, Michael Fawcett, Jason Kenny, not that one, Nick Official, Wollaston Village, Ducati John, Colin Pep, Keith Escott, Kelly Stewart, Peter Fawn, James Jackson, Sean Fackrell, Coach Conk, Glyn Barrington and Kev Burgess.
Kane loves the Blondie song, Hat of Glass.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure it's one of his favourites. So if you hear a clip on TalkSport over the next 7 days, please do send it in to us. TalkSport.com/H&J. You can text to 81089. You can tweet to TSH&J. That's TSHANDJ. We just need a day and a time when you heard it go out, so we've got a fighting chance of tracking it down. We'll have a listen back. If you enjoyed those clips, you want to hear them again, and a whole raft of previous clips of the week, they're available wherever you get your podcasts. It's the TalkSport Clips of the Week podcast. And the H&J Daily with some of our guests today. Stan's take on his old club, Palace and Glasner, and all manner of other stuff in today's H&J Daily podcast. Again, available in about 20 minutes, wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up next, we will hear from the Gaffers with a focus on Michael Carrick, who spoke for the first time today as the Manchester United manager, and the outgoing Oliver Glasner. We're here with Tool Station. They were the Clips of the Week with Tool Station. Get winter ready with heating and insulation essentials. Next stop, Tool Station.
Clips of the Week on TalkSport with Tool Station. Proudly behind the trades that work so hard for the nation. Next stop, Tool Station.
Hello and welcome to Sport Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football. Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Andy Goldstein down back up at 4 with Drive. And it's Jason Cundy. Sorry, apologies. He's alongside Andy today, I take it. Yeah, so the boys will be with you from 4. We're going to hear from Oliver Glasner, more from his press conference in which he announced he was off at the end of the season. He also confirmed that Mark Gay was going to be joining Manchester City, and that's moved on since the press conference. And he wouldn't be in the squad, understandably, this weekend.
My latest understanding that a deal with Mark is in the final stages. I can't confirm a club because it's still not done, but in the final stages, and the result is that Mark doesn't play tomorrow for us. Every player, and depending on his contract situation, there is a price where a club says we want to do it, and when the player says I want to move on, a deal will happen, and it looks like that this happened now, and that's why, yes, of course, from talking about sports, but nobody in the team will tell you something different. Different is everybody wanted Mark to stay forever. Crystal Palace captain and playing here, but reality is different.
He was also asked about whether they had any choice to sell Gay because he was not going to sign a new contract.
I think this is what, for every club, is a problem if you lose a player for free, but that's the situation. I think on the other side, also the clubs are responsible for the situations because they are paying quite high signing fees for free players. So I think every club has signed a free player. And then, you can't point with your finger on other clubs and you do the same. So I think that's just the football business where we are in. And this is what we have to accept. And if you can't find an agreement for a new deal, these things happen. Yeah, but of course, every team wants to avoid this.
I mean, where they are in the league, Palace, they're 13th. They're nearer the top than the bottom by a long way. They're fine.
They're 3 points behind us.
So you would think.
Sure.
So, I mean, to get 20 million for a player look, you'd rather he stayed. But, it's not the sort of decision that's going to send you down.
They'll be fine, but there's just that danger with the manager leaving and the best player and the captain leaving.
Slightly fall apart.
It could implode, but I don't think it will.
No, hopefully not.
And some very good players there.
So Michael Carrick gave his first press conference today, and he was asked what success would look like for him as the Manchester United interim coach by the end of the season.
Yeah, I think improvement, I think certainly improvement, and helping improve individuals. I think a big part of what I really enjoy is improving individuals, and in the end, I think if you improve the individuals, we create a better team. So certainly working with the players and improving them with that, I think. Listen, results. That's what it is. There's an element of performance, there's an element of improvement, and there's an element of doing what it takes to win in certain ways, in certain occasions. So. Certainly higher up the league we finish. We want to keep pushing and finishing high up as we possibly can, and we'll see where that takes us.
I think he did say later on that Europe would be great. And as you said, they've got one game a week, and where are they in the league at the moment? They're 5th or 6th or so. They're not far off, are they?
They're in a decent position.
They're 7th currently,
It's
but
because
on
of the way
32.
the league is. You can draw 4 games in a row and you're still up there.
Yeah.
It's a very strange league this season.
Let's hear from some of the other managers. By the way, we heard Palace fans earlier
They're
on.
7th.
Oh, 7th, that's right. I just said that, yeah.
Yeah.
Heard from Palace fans earlier on. Carl was very sort of balanced, nuanced Palace fan. I'm sure some will be raving. Some will like to thank the manager and Mark Gane for the job they did, but you can get your calls into Andy and Jason at 4. But we're going to hear from Eddie Howe now. Newcastle playing at the weekend. What they've got at the weekend. They're at Wolves. That's quite an interesting game now. I mean, Newcastle have had a couple of big games this week in the Cup. They could be a bit leggy. Who knows?
Wolves have improved a bit, haven't they?
Yeah. So he was asked, Eddie, if there's any money to spend from the Isak sale in this January transfer window.
Yeah, I don't necessarily count the money. So again, I will react to the information that I'm given, and collectively we come to the right decisions. I don't think it's a case of there's a pot of money stood somewhere. I think PSR is constantly moving and changing depending on our income. So lots of things affect our income, whether we're in the Champions League, how successful we are through the season. So it's constantly changing. You can't ever sort of get one reading on it because it changes on a daily basis. So we're having to react and change to that ourselves as we go through the season. All I can assure everybody is, and I've said this so many times, that if there is money to spend, the club are willing to spend it. There's not a case of anyone holding anything back. But of course, we've got to comply within the rules. We know how important that is.
There we are, Eddie Howe. And let's hear from Mikel Arteta finally. There's a lot of talk about Victor Gyökeres and how well he's doing and whether he's been a success so far or not. Mikel Arteta has been defending his player ahead of their trip to Forest tomorrow evening.
He's a very demanding person. He knows the level that we need, and basically he really wants to fulfill everything that we expect of him. And he's been really trying. He's been very consistent, and I thought that against Chelsea he had a great game and scored the goal that helped us to win the game. It's part of the expectations, but it's not only for Victor. It's for every number 9 in the league or in every top club or in every position that you play or in my seat. We expect to be really good, really consistent, and to win constantly, and that's what we have to try to do.
Okay. I didn't think he had a great game. I mean, the goal, blimey, I could have scored that goal, couldn't he?
I'd love to have seen it.
Well, yeah.
So that's us. We'll be back on Monday to pour over all the big games this weekend. If you're going to a game, enjoy it. If you're not able to, we've got it all covered for you here on talkSPORT. And coming up next to build up to it will be Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy with Drive. Have a great weekend.